I had a green coffee. Hello. Top of the yarnin, as our friend Tina would say. Stealing that. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Everybody's Irish today. So welcome. I'm by my lonesome from Knit Night because Therese is off celebrating and it's not Friday, so Joe's not here. But luckily my good friends Neil and Caro and Amy decided to pop on and celebrate with us. And so we all haven't been together in a while, so it's nice.
I know.
Even though it's like, 1 in for Neil. We appreciate it.
No, this is early for me. I nearly missed it because I was planning it for midnight because that's when you normally
because of the time difference.
I'm glad I sent that message because I wouldn't have realised.
I'm glad I
so
saw
this
the
is
message.
positively early. I may as well, I don't know.
Our friend Tina, it will be in the chat. She hopes she couldn't make it. And I see Joe Bob in the chat. So hello, Joe.
Yeah,
and everybody
Joe Bob,
else.
you should be here.
Oh, Joe Bob.
Chat.
Bob. First of all, I don't know what I won because I was driving when she pointed obnoxiously to the picture. So I don't know what the picture was and I haven't gone back and watched it yet. But my goal each time I'm on here is to have at least a page worth of complaints from Joe about me.
She does take
writing notes.
I would like to have the most notes and beat Neil in the notages.
Therese and I would be happy with other people having notes than us. So
that
go
is my
for
personal goal.
So that would make us happy.
Okay. The competition's on, Amy.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before you do that, I want to apologize to my prize winners because I mailed out my prize packages about a month ago. And when I went to the post office today to pick up the package that they claimed they tried to deliver yesterday, even though I was home and they never rang my doorbell, one of those things that have to be signed for. I went to pick it up and they said, oh, you have these packages here because I'd used pirate ship and weighed them at home and evidently my scale is off. So instead of notifying me saying I needed more postage, they just held on to them because, that's what my post office does. So I took them and I rebagged them because they were in post office envelopes and I sent them out via UPS. So a couple of them will be there Thursday and then Laura, yours will be there on Monday. So just want to give you guys a head up and I'm sorry. I did not realize that they were sitting there because my post office my mailman's nice, but the rest of them, they're just, I want Doge to come in and.
I was about to say post office needs to be Doge.
Don't worry. You are in good company as somebody that has to deal with shipping shenanigans on a regular basis.
Yeah, I've heard stories from people.
Liz, that'll teach you to use your bathroom scales because you've obviously twitched
I
a little bit, so that you're always a bit lighter.
No, it's my postage scale I use for weighing yarn for like when I write patterns. So that's kind of making me worry.
Whenever I do pirate ship for the stoppers, I do, if it says like 1.4, I'll say 1.6 just to err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I was okay because a couple things were skeins of yarn and I know they were 100 grams. So, So my bad.
If you've got any, extra stuff in it, any cards.
I know, but I weighed those too and kind of rounded up, but evidently not enough. So
yeah, they're very picky about the day you ship too. So they don't want you to print the label and then not ship it till like the next day.
Yeah, they don't like that. But it's ironic because most shipping places will claim that they delivered something, but not do it up to 3 days later.
Yeah,
and I get a bunch of tickets asking where the package is.
Yep.
And I'm like, I have no idea where your shit is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that happen and then I call and they say, oh, well, it could take up to, 2 or 3 days before it actually delivers. Like, then why did you say it was delivered?
Yeah. Yeah, usually I tell folks that when they send in tickets, I'm like, I can't explain why these providers do this. You can call them and ask, but I know that they do it. There's I think last time I checked, there's like 700 tickets on that. So
I know my UPS friend said that sometimes they will mark stuff delivered to get it off the truck, quote unquote.
Yeah.
The metrics,
And then they go the next day and go bring it so that they're not dinged. And that's just allegedly.
Well, as long as it gets there, I'm fine. I don't want it to be something that's thrown off a truck somewhere in a dump site where, some driver or whatever is just
Right. Don't
dumping
say
all the
it's
packages.
delivered
Yeah.
if, it's not.
Probably just
gladly
need to go
wait.
to the headquarters of each area and be like, tell us about how you measure employee performance because your current method is fucking with my business.
Yeah, it's definitely.
We had I'll never forget. So we had FedEx in the warehouse for one launch. And when we do like our big like fulfillment days where we're shipping out like thousands of orders, we call every provider and like, we are shipping big, bring the truck, right? Like we're not messing around. And this one guy from FedEx showed up and we were trying to load our stuff onto his truck. And he's like, oh, nah, man, we got other stops. We got to pick up stuff. And it was like, no, your truck is just for us. And he showed us his dossier of all his other stops that he had to do. So we were like, hold on 1 second. And so the people that were from FedEx that were in the warehouse were actually the corporate head. So we're like, you can go fix this. Like, you go talk to the driver. And so they went over and all of our stuff got on the truck and they had a nice long talk with whatever dock manager or whatever you call that role. So it was a nice flex. I'll say it that way.
I would have, if I was wrong and I measured wrong and didn't have enough postage, I was happy to pay the extra postage had someone told me.
Yeah, usually they put it back in your box and they say postage too. Usually there's a little stampy thing on it, or they'll pay it and they'll be like, you need to owe this, or we're not bringing you any more mail.
Here they charge the recipient. So if I don't pay enough, and I send something, say to Annie, she would have the bill.
Yeah.
Pay it.
Yeah. See, I didn't want them to pay it. So my UPS lady that I went to today, she said I was not the first customer they've had in the last 2 weeks. Mail stuff they normally mail through the post office because of stuff not arriving. But I was like, oh, great.
I'm not looking forward to that.
But we'll see. Let's see what happens. So what's everybody working on?
Well, I've injured myself, so I can't do it.
Oh, no, what'd you do?
I did too.
Oh, I'm going to do my sad face.
I did as well. I busted my, my nails almost ripped off.
Oh.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I think you might beat me.
I mean, it's not a contest. Your suffering also matters.
We care about everybody's pain here.
I've got new knives, and I did a silly thing because my old knives were pretty blunt, and I was cutting cheese, and I kind of hold the cheese and sliced it like that, forgetting that I had a brand new, super, super sharp knife, and I did it really fast. I felt it slip off the cheese, and it went right into it. So I don't know. It felt deep.
They make this thing called cutting boards.
Cutting boards. I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got two, but it was like, oh, it'll be easy, So anyway, what I've done is I've wrapped it in about 7 what we call plasters. I think you call them band-aids, don't you? Not for because it needs them. It's just to stop me bending it because it's right on a crease, and every time I move it opens.
Oh yeah, that's the worst.
That's because you can't even so it starts to heal and you bend it. It's like
Oh yeah, and the problem is that's the knitting thumb. Portuguese, you see, and it would go right on that line. So I'm just going to leave it for a day or two before I try, and then I'll just.
So you need to pick up some crochet. So you need to get your crochet out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I probably could. Well, I've got a bit of crochet. I'm joining Russia.
Oh, you're trying my. See, you should make all your squares for
your when do you need that by, Amy? Anyway,
when I finish writing it.
So I did a few little testers. And this one I don't like, but it was quite a cool little. Oh, you can't see it really, can you?
Yes. So when I finish writing it, then I'll tell people when I need to do by. But that's my progress on the knit part.
Oh, you're doing well.
You're doing very well. See, mine's not going to be quite the same because I don't want to do as many squares. So.
Well, I took Neil's advice and took out one right here.
So you went a bit wider.
Yes, because
And are you doing 1-for-1 still, or are you doubling the yarn now, or what did you do?
No, I just did the one. I'm not doubling the yarn. I'm doing because that's how I want. I wanted it light, so I don't really want to double the yarn. So that's my top, and then it's past my boobs. So.
Yay.
And you've tried it on now, have you, with that extra taken out?
No, I have not, because at this point I said screw it. I'm just going to keep going, and if it doesn't fit me, it'll fit somebody else. Because
you don't want to know. Yeah,
I'm tired
that's Amy's sweater knitting philosophy.
Because this is the third time that I've gotten this far, and I said, screw it. I will either make it work, or I will give it to someone skinnier, or it will just be a sample of my testament of, here, guys, make sure you measure yourself.
Well, mine, inspiration for mine, which I have not started, I have the yarn though, is more like a ranunculus kind of style where it's really lacy.
Yeah.
So really lacy squares and oversized with a circular yoke.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
this is literally just going to be a recipe. I'm going to expect it. I am not going to give you I mean, you have a question, cool, but no, I'm not going to be answering your how many, whatever. Do some math and figure it out.
There you go.
I have a long torso, Joe. It's not quite to my belly button yet.
That's right.
Can I-
Amy's,
Can I show
Amy's
my
tall.
test knit?
And
Yeah.
I have tiny boobs, so.
This is my James Watts test knit.
Are you allowed to show it publicly?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so. He's very, very chilled with his. Oh, I can't hold it because of this. I can't do anything with this thumb. Anyway, it's very strange construction. So that's the neckline around my neck there,
Oh.
and you knit it modular and sort of sideways. But what's funny about it, that's all I've done, and I've only got till the 16th of April to get it finished. So I really need to get on with it.
So we need to
Well-
get on Neil's case about his test knit. Is that it?
Yeah, but the good thing is, which is going to be really hilarious, is that there's only one more stripe of length. So basically, it's going to be one of those that literally just covers your nipples and shows your hairy belly button. So,
my.
So what I'm going to do is for the test knit, I'm going to knit what the pattern is, but then
And then you're
obviously
going to add
I'm
another
going
row of
to-
stripes.
I'm going to add
Yeah.
another 4 rows of
Oh,
stripes.
well,
I think.
yeah.
But
I
I'll be
like
wearing
it, though.
something underneath it. Don't worry, I won't be. I won't be making you all sick.
Well, maybe you can send him a picture of your thumb. Be like, I'm trying, but look at my thumb. I'm
Yeah,
hurt."
I think he'd feel sorry for me about it. Well, maybe
Probably.
Not, I don't know.
So, Carol, are you able to crochet or knit or anything with your injury?
Yeah, it's slow though. So
Oh,
I mean, I basically brace my brace on the hook as I work, but I'm being careful.
How
'cause
did you do it? What did you do?
Well, as a pastime, I like to box, right?
Oh,
And I made the mistake of trying to do my nails again. And so normally a normal nail, if it hits a thing a certain way, it will just bend, right? But this
Mhm.
doesn't really bend.
Mm.
So I almost ripped my nail off, and the whole
Oh.
reason this is on here is because I'm trying to not fuck with it. I'm just gonna let it fall off naturally right now. But yeah, it's like I'd say I'd show you what it looks like, but again, the nail's in the way. But like I showed it to like one of my friends that works in like medical, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that thing's gonna fall off." And I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
cool, that's great."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when I was talking to my husband, I was like, "Well, what do we do?" And he was like, "Well, I have a 3D printer," and so he made me this.
aw.
Yeah, and so my nail is protected, and it's doing a really good job. There's been like I think 5 times where like it would have like gotten worse, but this was
Ugh.
there.
so it's like a
Nice.
thumb basket.
I slammed
Yeah.
my hand, my
Yeah.
fingers in the
Cage.
car door once,
It's
and
like-
it caught my finger.
Like a little Dalek.
Yeah, he made me a
It's
down.
very cute.
That's cool.
And my nail came off, and I
Yeah.
used one of those Lee press-on nails that I would just sit on top of it and band-aid that over
Uh-huh.
so that I wouldn't bang it, because I kept banging it into everything.
Touch wood. I've never had that with a nail, and I don't
Oh.
think I would like
I
it.
slammed the
have
car
Very,
door.
very painful.
I have done that.
I
That
saw-
hurts.
The worst was it was locked, so I had to get out my keys from my other hand to unlock the door, because this was 30 years ago,
Yeah.
so that I could get my hand out, because
I
it was
think what hurts worse if you get like a blood blister and it doesn't fall off, and then the blister's just under there, and then you have to get up the nerve to pierce it. Ooh, that hurts, like
Mhm.
psychologically and physically. But once you burst it, once you pop it, you're like, oh, that was amazing.
yeah.
But I can't bring myself to do it, so I have to let other, like my friend, he's done it with the really, really, really sharp hot needle, and I'm like, I can't look, I can't look, I can't look.
Ooh.
My son's
Oh.
getting ready to have his wisdom teeth out, and he's been researching it. What he can do and cannot do. And I said, you don't do anything that might cause dry socket.
They will tell him everything. They'll give him a list.
Oh, I
and
know.
Whoever drives him
I
home
know.
will have the list. And
I know, but he
just
likes
remind him, don't
he's a
lay
planner.
down to sleep. He needs to sit sleeping up for a while.
Yeah.
So.
I got
He,
dry
um,
socket.
I
on the
did.
bottom one. It doesn't on the top so much, does it? It's always the bottom one.
Yeah,
Generally.
that's where mine
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
But I ordered him the ice packs that come in the little Velcro thing that goes around your head.
Yeah.
And it has replaceable ice packs so that I got him an extra set. So while he's using one, he can have another frozen one
Yeah.
and the little syringes for dry socket
Yep.
and gauze.
Yeah,
and
they, I
straws.
mean, they gave my son all that stuff.
I
but,
know.
But he really didn't swallow as much as I thought he would. So I don't know, but if he, just because he has a wider jaw, he didn't need it. You know,
Yeah.
it's easier to come out, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. He's waiting for the authorization through his health insurance for them to see how much they'll cover.
Do they
So
give
he
him
can
the
get-
happy medicine before he gets there? Because that was fun.
I don't know. He went to this referral and they would have done it same day. I'm like,
Oh,
what do you mean
God.
same day? Because they
No.
do same day
I
surgery.
think we're
there.
making people feel ill in the comments. So,
Sorry,
sorry.
y'all,
Caro.
sorry.
Sorry.
can I guess what you're working on?
Yes, and you'll
Is it a
probably be
shawl?
right. Yeah.
No, I was going to say sweater. Darn it. No.
No, I'm
Um,
still.
I love that one. I think it is. So
I think the
cool.
color-
colors
so
are
pretty.
so cool with the pattern that you're using.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Amy would say, it's a gumbo shawl because I'm just kind of doing it as I go.
That's my
Ooh,
girl.
Gumbo.
Yeah.
All right, y'all gotta come with me to cook. So
Oh, take us to the kitchen.
Oh, I've still not had popcorns, whatever it's called yet. Popeyes.
Popeyes. Oh,
yeah, you
Um,
you owe us some Popeyes, dude. What's up with that?
Yeah. I will. I'll probably have it this weekend. I fell asleep.
I
And,
know.
it
Like
was
I
too
literally
late.
was like,
I know.
was
We were all
"Oh
like
my
talking
God."
about Popeyes and we never heard back from you.
We never heard back, and I was like, oh my God, I killed Neil with Popeyes. I was like, oh no, he didn't come back.
Well, if you can't knit, I found a subject you can research for the magazine.
Oh, go on.
Let me look up the lady's name.
Don't look at my messy kitchen. I'm just
I'm
literally
looking and I'm judging.
it's a mess.
Okay.
I'm literally heating up meat for my men, and then
This
I'll be
woman named Tabitha Babbitt. She was a
Tabitha Babbitt.
Yeah, she was a shaker, and she created the first circular saw in 1810 by attaching a round blade to her spinning wheel.
cool.
She also invented a whole bunch of other things.
Ooh.
Kind of ironic. There these.
It revolutionized lumber cutting forever.
I did
so-
not know that.
I didn't either. It popped up on my Pinterest, so I thought that was
That's
really
weird.
cool.
I used to work in a place called Radbrook Hall in a very posh place called Knutsford, and it was like an engineering place, and they had a whole building called the Babbitt Building. So I wonder whether they named
No,
it.
now
after
that's
her.
probably now you know why.
Mm.
I don't know. I'm working on an article for your next issue about historical codes and things.
Oh, brilliant! Yes, thank you.
Um,
Yeah, I was hoping someone would.
I am not working
From-
on an article.
some Revolutionary War and then some others.
Sorry.
And she's proud of it, aren't you, as
I
well,
was
Amy?
like, ciphers, codes. What the heck am I doing with that? Oh, I got nothing. Hey, I
No,
gave you
there's a
some
lot of
topics.
historical.
The lady
figures
that
in
does
wisdom.
ASL.
But what is there to write about that for the knitting?
You could do the knitting words. in
I don't know the
ASL.
knitting words.
Well, learn them.
Yeah, Amy.
I don't know the knitting words.
So,
Hey, I gave you Bigfoot, okay?
Okay,
okay,
okay.
so I frogged my other my hoodie that I was doing. Nothing wrong with the pattern. It's great pattern. It's just the green that I was using. I like the green, but when I put it in the daylight next to the blue, it looked really yellow.
Oh, yeah.
So I started it over with this pink
Oh.
and white and turquoise one.
Oh, this is a sweater,
Ooh.
isn't it? That's that.
Yeah,
weird
it's a hoodie. It's a
construction.
striped on the hood, and then it starts like it's a shawl. Basically, you knit a shawl, and this is the center back, and then it goes out from here, and then you pick up and you knit the body
That's
and the
pretty.
sleeves,
brilliant.
and then you knit the hood.
I love
Yeah.
constructions like that. That are
It's a
little
real.
bit
It's so
different.
Sue knits. She does a lot of fun constructions, and
Did
so I'm
you
working
finish
on
that
that.
one where you were doing the strange constructed sleeves?
That's also her pattern, and I'm actually working on it right now. I finished the sleeves and I blocked them so I could seam them. And yeah, I actually did a mattress seam. You should be really proud of me because I never do seaming. And this is where it is so far.
Ah,
So
That's cool as
basically,
well. Love
I've
the
picked up for the
colours.
neck to make it
It's
smaller,
beautiful.
but I just haven't knit it yet. And you just knit down the body, and then there's a little bit of ribbing on the bottom and then you pick up the neck and you can make it smaller because it's really open.
And are you doing these both for yourself or are these for somebody
This
else?
one's for my daughter, and the hoodie's for me. So I have yarn to do one of these for me at some point. And then I have yarn from Tina to start at some point my Bright Access tee, which is also stripy.
I need Tina to wrap up the yarn making for the month so I can decide what I'm buying.
Yeah, I know. She
Yes,
sent
I'm
me
like-
some.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use my coupon code. Oh crap, she made another one. Okay, I'm gonna use my coupon code. Oh
I
crap, she
know,
made
I
another
know.
one.
I know.
You have
Here,
a coupon
okay.
code for
Speaking
Tina?
of Tina,
I have a coupon code from my podcast. My podcast watcher.
speaking of
Oh.
her, this is her
You can get 15% off.
unpronounceable yarn that Amy wanted.
But you never do your podcast. When did you last do a
Dinward
podcast?
Air.
I posted on Instagram and on YouTube community.
I think it's Dinward Air
Oh, right.
or something is the name. So
Amy
is
and
the
I
one-
do like each other, everybody, by the way.
this
I
is the
think
one
it's-
Amy requested from Tina.
I did request. I told her to make an ugly yarn, and she did not succeed.
It's not ugly. It's
Nice.
pretty though.
It is nice.
It's
Oh,
peach
it's
and purple,
beautiful.
and you
That
really
looks-
wouldn't.
Those are the colors of the school I used to work at. Those were our school colors.
Oh, did it make you feel a bit sick then? Did you get like
No,
Monday
no,
morning feeling?
And then
no.
this-
I mean, I liked it.
This is for the
So-
body of my Bright Access
I
tee,
want that one
Oh,
too.
I
Oh,
like
that's pretty.
and then the
I want that one, the
stripes
pink one.
are going to be, which I'm waiting on the yarn because I had the stripes was a pre-order from this dyer on Etsy that I've been looking at for 6 months, and I finally pre-ordered the.
Well, if anybody wants
Right.
to use my code, it's Tippy Taps for 15% off.
All right.
It
I'll
changes
be
every
using
month.
that because that'll cover the
So
postage
that's
for
the
me.
white.
Tippy
That's
Taps.
going to be across the top for the
Yes.
Bright Access tee. So
Yeah, Tina's
That'll be
got a
after I
few
get these done.
really cool colours out at the moment.
she
Mhm.
does.
Like-
She did the turquoise for me because I needed it to be lighter than the turquoise and the self striping that I don't even have yet, and she just did it.
Makes me laugh, you know, when she does her, what's it called, Wednesdays? What are they called?
Wild cards. I
Wild
love
card,
those.
yeah.
And she'll say, "Oh well, you know, I didn't like this one, and so I'm not going to." And it's like, what? It
I
was
know.
great. I've not seen her do a bad one yet.
Well, that's what the ugly one that we can't pronounce is because I said make an ugly one. And she's like, well, the wild card Wednesday kind of came out ugly. I'm like, that's not ugly. Like, it's friendly.
It does worry me though about the amount of yarn dye that she kind of throws down the sink, but I know she doesn't care, does she? She's already said, I think.
It's
like,
you know
"No,
what?
don't
She
waste
doesn't own the
matter."
place. She doesn't own the place, so she don't care.
Ah.
And where else is she going to throw it?
Do y'all think
On the
that's-
streets?
Oh
You
no,
know
I
that-
don't mean that. I mean
I was about to say, y'all don't know what
wasting the
goes down
colour.
sinks.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't care.
well,
I don't care about the environment or anything like that. So
Right.
I'm
I
just
was about to
thinking
say,
that was another yarn of dye. You
I
know,
was going to say,
she's
would
about-
you want her to dump it out the window onto the streets of the city?
Why
I was
not?
like-
That's what we do here.
I was like, guys, there's way worse things that go down your sinks than that. I assure you.
That is
Yeah,
true.
No, wrong
I promise
concern
you.
there.
So yeah. Oh, Neil, I got this contraption, and I think it's similar to the one you got.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's
Contraption.
I'm worried now.
kind of a thing
what-
for.
No. Should be right.
Yes, for mini yarn, mini skeins.
Yeah.
Oh.
Looks like a weird kind of spanner, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know how it works.
Okay, you hold it up a little bit so we can see it.
There's like two of
Ah,
them.
so you got your two. One bit slides into the other, so you can extend it out.
Oh, okay.
With that
I
there
context,
should
that was
be,
very
uh,
pretty.
Taro,
And there's these little thingies.
They go on the side, although they're kind of a bit pointless. I didn't use those.
Oh, okay. Oh, I guess. Yeah, I don't know what you do with these.
What I'll do is I'll send you. Mine's under a box in the other side of the room, so I can't get it now. But I'll send you a picture of how I've got mine set up.
I guess you could get a screw, put a screw in one, and put it down here to hold it. I think that's what you're supposed to do because there's a hole in here.
Oh, did you not get that with it? Did you not
No.
get something to screw it in with?
Wait, yeah, never mind. Here it is. They're
Ah.
hidden in the plastic. Okay, yeah.
How dare they hide from you?
Okay, I see. And then you can just make it whatever width you need.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
what I've been doing with mine is I've been using like a gripper thing that I have for my mobile phone, you know, so I don't have to hold my phone. and I've been putting it on the gripper so that it's easier to unwind off it. Otherwise,
Okay.
you've got to kind of hold it in your hand. It's a bit awkward.
Well, you and Shauna were talking about it, Shauna Stitches. And I have
Yeah.
a bunch of smaller skeins I'm going to be using for something. And I thought, well,
Yeah, Shauna didn't think it was very. She didn't buy one, I don't think, but she didn't think it was going to be very useful for her because she found it easier. I can't remember what she does now. She has a method that she uses of her own that works well. But I find it useful because, speaking of which, I've been making my blanket and scarf.
I
depending
love
on-
that. The
So-
colors are so fun,
Oh,
and
it's very beachy.
it is.
And it will be in a year. It'll be a blanket, but at the
Oh.
moment, I'm writing the pattern up as a scarf. But the pattern just carries on and carries on. So once you know how to make the scarf, you can make the blanket.
You need to wear like all black when you model the scarf and go somewhere dark. So the
Well, I'm
colors
going to
just pop.
find somebody else to model it because I think it's like going to look a bit crap on me. But what I've done with it, so it's a bit like a what's she called? Kay Jones's jelly roll. That's the inspiration of it. But the other part of the inspiration is from a pattern that was in the last issue, which is Solari, etc. or ETC.
Yeah.
And what she did, mind you, I've done this myself, but it's kind of because I was knitting hers. I think it must have been in the back of my head. Is I started with the Chinese waitress cast on like she did, and it's a 2-stitch I-cord at the sides. But I've come up with what I think is unique. I don't know. I'm sure somebody somewhere has done it before. A unique way of joining them together so that it's completely the same on both sides. So both sides of it have, I don't know whether you'll be able to see. Can you see that kind of like
Mhm.
row of what
Oh.
looks like a knit stitch there?
Right.
Well, on the other side, it's exactly the same as well.
See, that's
Although-
really cool.
Although they go in different directions, but it still
Right.
looks the same.
But that's really cool. the
But I like
joining.
that because scarves and blankets for me, they're really irritating if you end up seeing, the wrong side. So there's no right or wrong side with it. And it's really, well, put it this way, you know how slow I am at knitting, and I've really enjoyed knitting this. But I think it's because of the change in the colours every, because they're only 5 gram minis. It just keeps your interest going. You get a bit bored of one colour and then it's like, what's next?
Can you do that join in the, like, do you have to have doing straight pieces, or can it work on like a 10-stitch blanket?
If you do a 2-stitch I-cord on the edge, you
Yeah.
could do it on a 10-stitch blanket
Okay.
as well. Yes,
I
definitely.
like those, but I don't like the ridge.
Right. Well, this will be perfect then. So what I'll do, when my thumb's better, I'll probably try just starting a 10-stitch blanket just so you can see how you do
Okay.
it. Because what the other thing that's great about this particular method as well is that I worked this method out ages ago where I wanted something that was knitted in 2 directions. I wanted something that was knitted back to front as normal, but then I wanted something that would knit up, but I wanted it to be reversible. And that works as well. So you pick up from the very edge, and it's a really easy way of picking up. And I don't know whether it's been done before, so I might have to be really annoying and come up with some kind of name for it, just so that the horrible people can slag me off and say, "Oh, he thinks he's invented it when such and such a body did it in 1962."
Yeah, but then you just market it as your version of this.
Well, I was thinking, what shall I call it to really annoy you?
No, I know. You name it, but then you
Well, I'm
also
very
know that
excited.
somebody could have done it beforehand.
Modern audience.
The Knitler pickup.
Should do that too.
Yeah, I don't know how many people will use it then, but okay.
Because I wanted
Well-
to do the northeasterly, and I didn't like the join. I liked the way it looked, and yours is so pretty and smooth and
I know.
classy, and I think it's gonna be perfect for my friend's yarn because I'm thinking since there's no, I'll just do a sequence, change yarn, do a sequence, change yarn, and then it'll
Yeah.
be all kind of crazy,
Well, I was going to record a video of how to do the pickup and the join, but I'm going to wait a couple of days.
And then you had to eat cheese and mess it all up.
Yeah, if
Now-
only I'd ordered Popeyes.
If
I'd have
only
been
you
all
got
right.
the
That's the
Popeye.
real lesson. You
Yeah.
should have ordered Popeyes. And
That's
cheese
true.
is dangerous.
If not for a spicy chicken sandwich, we'd have a pattern right now.
Ooh.
Oh, Sherry, the colours are by Cuddlebums Yarn, who's in the UK, and Shauna got me hooked on
Is
her
that
yarn
that
and what it
big-
is.
Is that big box of different?
It's a mini a day for a year.
Okay, yeah.
So every month
That would scare me.
you get the minis for every day that month.
I mean, it would, even though they're tiny, I would just feel that pressure that I need to use them, you know?
Yeah, I would want
I've had that. I have.
I
I'm
wanna
kind
roll
of
'em
getting
all
over
up.
it a bit now.
in little balls and put them in a jar and look at them. That's all I want to do.
I know.
I think you should call it modern retailing, just so that way people can spend time trying to figure out where you got it from, and you'll be like, "I'm helping you learn."
Though,
What I've been
I
doing
guess,
is putting them on little things to try and keep them in the order that I
Oh,
want them in.
it's so
right.
Because I'm not doing them completely random. I am kind of keeping them in a
right.
family
yeah.
for each column, if you like.
Yeah,
So that's the
but
blue
they're so
column.
cute.
Oh, they
I
are,
mean-
aren't they? And they are. There's just something about them that is like, oh, I don't want to use them.
I feel like
just leave them in a
minis-
jar.
Minis are like babies are to children. Like you get the mini, you're like, it's so cute. You don't realize how quickly it will explode and
Mhm.
then cost
here's-
you way more money than you think it's going to.
Here's the rest of this month's.
Oh,
I still have
like
the Patriot
that.
one from
I
Chicken
like
Finger
that.
Lady that I need to finish.
Yeah, but these are like mini minis, aren't they? Only like 5
Yeah, 5 grams. Yeah,
5
so
grams.
before
Oh.
you realise it, you've used
Micro
40
mini.
grams.
They're like
That's
they're it's preemie yarn. Oh,
But you
it's
could have
so
it as a
cute.
necklace if you wanted to.
It's little
or-
preemie yarns.
That
They got
would be nice
hair.
as a hat, wouldn't it? Yeah. I'd look cool with. Oh, what about beard?
Okay.
Mm,
My son
wait.
did not mean to call.
You
There you
could
go.
you could take that and like go to like a pride parade, and they won't even like they
Oh,
won't
yeah.
even
try and
question
kill
it.
me.
No, you'll be totally
You
disguised.
just loop that bad boy around your ear.
Do you have to
and
sign
then-
up for the year or is it a month to month thing?
Well,
or?
you sign up, but you only pay once a month, so you could drop out at any point. That she
Oh, okay.
does have an American one to choose from, because I think I don't know how she's done it, but she has tried to get the price down for shipping somehow. Because
Mhm.
Shauna does the American version, and it's the same yarn, but obviously it's a little bit more expensive.
For us or for you?
For us, because they're British.
Oh, it's in Brit. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Although she still charges £5 for shipping in the UK, which is a bit much, really, I
Huh.
think. But it's worth it.
I got real Irish yarn. I should have grabbed it to show for St. Patrick's Day, but my friends came home to visit because their grandpa is not well, and they finally brought me the yarn that they bought when they went to Ireland. And I thought they just bought like one, like somebody else bought me yarn from Ireland, but they bought me like a bag. And of course, none of the colors really go because bless their heart, they don't know what they're doing. And and I'm like,
What? Are you saying
I
all of
know.
Ireland doesn't know what they're doing?
no. The people that don't knit, that buy yarn for other people, they don't know.
Yeah.
So it is like the most rustic,
Oh, right.
scratchy, 100% wool. I'm like,
What are you going to
Alright.
make with that?
I don't know, but I'm gonna make something. But I mean,
A blanket for someone you don't like,
It had-
Yeah,
there was
that's
like
what you do.
cream, blue.
or a hat
Gray.
for someone you
So
hate.
the colors weren't bad. The colors all do go together, but I don't remember if they were all the same dyer or even the same blend. So I'd have to go get the bag out and see. But she was so proud of herself, and I was like, thank you. I mean, I would keep it, just have Ireland yarn, just to say I have yarn bought from a yarn shop in Ireland is cool for me.
It's
so.
funny though, isn't it? Because that's why I was quite excited the first time I got American yarn from Chicken Lady.
Yeah.
We all just want something that you can't get at home, isn't it? That's what we all want.
Yeah. And they said when they walked into the yarn shop, like I don't know where it was in relation to where they were, and they weren't far from Dublin, but I don't know where they were when they actually went in the yarn shop.
Oh,
And he was-
there's a
he was
light
like,
version.
huh?
Sorry, there's a light version of his club where they do 15 5 grams.
Oh.
Sorry, yes, they do. And
Oh,
the other thing that
nice.
she does as well is
But
she
it's out of
often
stock.
has. She often had. I think she had a Valentine's month as well, where it was like a mini a day just for Valentine's, and
Okay,
she does
that's
them all
cool.
through the year.
Nice.
I did a mini. Well, I bought a mini advent after the event on sale, which is how I realized I actually like the yarn. I mean, it's all rainbow stuff like that. It's all very
Right.
So it's not going to be for everyone.
Well, it's pretty. I liked it.
I mean, I wouldn't make a sweater out of it. Put it that way.
Wow.
Although you could, but
She's got her Valentine's ones on sale, I guess, since it's after Valentine's. You can get the braid plus the 100-gram braid plus the 100-gram skein is 37 pounds. So that's like 2 skeins for 40 something for us plus shipping, of course. But that's not bad though.
That's not bad.
I mean, they added on for the hassle of doing it, don't they? In the minis, it's more expensive.
Yeah.
What I'm waiting to find out is whether with this year-long one, whether I'm going to start getting the same ones back again. Whether she's whether she's dyed 100-gram skeins and then split them up. And
That's what I was about to ask.
I don't think so because they're sold out. So she probably.
Yeah, I'm hoping she doesn't, but then at the same time, I won't be sad if she does because it'll work in the blanket anyway. It'll kind of make it all. But I'd do it again. I would do it again if she does it next year, I think, depending on how the rest of the year goes. So my next one's due any day, really. Next month.
How's your circle blanket coming?
Oh, that's on hold at the moment. Tabitha spoilt it for me by saying how awful it was. No, she didn't. No, what I think because I was doing this.
Well, everything's on hold now until you're.
Yeah, this scarf thing. Well, yeah, this scarf thing has really kind of got me. You know what I mean? I'm just really enjoying knitting it.
So except we have to yell at him every day to make sure that he's knitting on his test knit because he doesn't want to let James down because we love James once.
Like Neil, do the test knit and your circle blanket.
He won't ask me again, will he? Yeah, the circle blanket, that's going to be easy to carry on, I know, because it is quite fun to do as well.
That's kind of like I'm at the point with the sweater. I'm like, I know it was my idea and I know I started this, but now I'm questioning myself for doing that. But now
you're on the boring bit now, though, aren't you?
I'm at the boring part, but I'm like, I'm going to do this thing and that thing, and I started this and I never finished it. And then Tabitha's doing socks for the babies, and I haven't done any socks yet. And
I need to do socks too.
Well, I'm thinking of my Make Orange Great Again along as well. So I don't think we've announced it yet. I don't think have we? But,
no.
June the 14th, I'll be. So it'll be in the advert for it. Will be in the next issue. We're doing a Make Orange Great Again. Mal, so you can do spinning, you can do crochet, you can do knitting, whatever. The only rule is 50% of whatever your project is needs to be a shade of orange. Any shade of orange is fine.
I'm going to check and see if this is orange enough.
You need to buy some. And so it's June the 14th. If anyone know why?
14th of what?
Trump's birthday.
Yeah, because it's the Orange Overlord's birthday on that day.
Chicken Lady has some gorgeous oranges, and Tina has some oranges, and I think Mystery Mouse Yarn might be doing some.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, and you'll get extra points for using their yarns as well because there's going to be a whole point system. Yes, there's orange in there. Would you say it's 50% orange?
I don't know if it's 50%, but it looks like a lot.
Pretty. Yeah.
I told myself I was going to spin my own yarn, and then I bought a bunch of fiber, and then I quickly put it in the closet.
So the rules for spinning is it's the weight of your finished product.
Okay.
So whatever the weight is. So basically you get a point. I think it's a point for every 50 grams of orange yarn. So you don't get any points for the other colors.
Okay.
So that's why we need to know whether it's 50% or 100% or whatever.
See, I'm with Therese said she didn't like orange, right?
Therese loves
I don't
orange.
like orange.
Oh,
I hate
The baseball
orange.
team.
No, but I thought she didn't want to wear orange, and this is a summer thing, right?
Yeah, she doesn't wear orange in the summer.
Okay.
Oh,
so
right.
I don't really care for orange at all, other than like pumpkin rust color orange. But so this is summertime. This is summertime, right?
Yeah, but you can use any color orange, you said.
Yeah, you could have something, you could knit something for October for Halloween.
Right. So that's what I was thinking. I'm like, if it's the summer, because it doesn't matter for me. It's hot all the time. But because I could make pumpkins, stuff.
I think I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think the cutoff date was going to be September. So that would fit for pumpkins.
But I mean, like, it doesn't have to be orange. It can be like
any shade of orange.
like pumpkin and
Oh yeah, yeah.
okay.
It can be peach because I'd kind of accept peach. I think.
Because
can make little
I
baby
do
orange.
like peach
You can
I like
make little
peach.
baby orange baby socks.
With like green, like a soft sage green and peach and cream. It's really pretty in a baby's blanket. So I could do
Yeah,
that.
I'm not going to be like Am. I will be. You know, I can be negotiated with. Oh, there will be prizes, by the way. There'll be 3 prizes, and the winners will just be picked randomly. But the way you get extra points to join, it's going to be like names in a hat kind of thing. So you'll get entered more than once, depending on how
Or
many
a
skeins of
spreadsheet.
orange you've used. Yes. So obviously, Amy is going to be helping me with that.
We can make an
And,
orange spreadsheet with shades of orange.
Oh, well, one of the things that I wanted to ask everybody, though, is so I was going to have a skein of Tina's yarn as a prize, a skein of Lynn's yarn as a prize, and a skein of Holly's yarn as a prize. Obviously, I'm going to buy
stoppers
it.
if you want. So
Cool. Yeah, please. But do I have it as orange, one of their orange yarns for their prize, or do you think people will have had enough of orange at that point?
I would let them choose whatever.
I would just let them choose a skein.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Like I know being internationally, it's probably easier for you to be like, here's X amount of dollars worth from whoever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I'll be doing. Yeah.
So I mean,
Well,
because I wouldn't want to win orange yarn, honestly. You know.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Well,
So
you'll be getting it for free, though, won't you? So it's like.
Yeah, but if I'm not going to use it, so.
Well, I'm just thinking, what if they end up with a few skeins of orange stock left over that they can't get rid of? At least then
Somebody will buy them. Somebody will buy it.
Tina dyes hers to order, so
Yeah, a lot of them do.
True.
So, just me personally, I would want just like X amount to eat the shop.
Like a voucher or something.
Yeah, like
I'll
when
probably
I do my
voucher.
stoppers, I'm like, here's a code for X amount off of whatever. So if they choose to spend more, cool. But here's $20 free or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
to save the babies.
Although
Yes.
I do have Orange Man face stoppers.
Oh, do you?
She does.
I have little
Brilliant.
Trump heads, and I have MAGA hats.
Oh, perfect.
Then
They
I
would
have
be
ones
perfect.
that say I'm a Trump girl, deal with it. So
Has anybody
Nice.
entered your competition from the last issue?
we did. What was what we say our deadline was? The end of the month, right? Okay. Yeah, we
Yeah,
had
I think
about
so.
I haven't checked the email in the last few days,
I
but
forgot to enter.
we definitely have had entries, and there was a couple people that were like so close, and I was like, try again.
Ooh.
And they're like,
Oh.
they did it again. I'm like, try again.
Oh no.
PS did such a good job of hiding those hats.
She did. There was a couple that I was like, where is it? I'm like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I like
there
how
was-
Tabitha questioned why some were on her picture.
What do you mean? What do you mean? There's spoilers.
Don't say where they are.
Those are
There
kind
was
of
one that was really subtle that I was like, didn't even catch that one. Like
Yeah.
it took me a minute to catch it. I was like,
Well, I was almost at the point of emailing her back and saying, look, I think the count you've given me isn't right. My arrogance, thinking I can count better than anybody else,
most people that I got the email for, they got it right the first time. So
Oh, really?
that was fun though.
yeah, that was cute how she did it. That snuck them in there. So
Speaking of blocked, when's your next deadline? The 15th?
15th, yes, of April. So this is the cipher issue. So code, symbols, anything really.
Mm.
Of course it is. Yes.
Oh,
Orange
William
Colour
of
the
Orange,
Netherlands. Is it William of Orange or was
That's what
that
I thought.
Oh,
that
really?
was Ireland, wasn't it? Was it? I don't know.
why is orange the color of the Netherlands?
That's that's the color. Like we have red, white, and blue.
Is their flag orange?
No,
I
I
don't
think their flag is
That was like blue and white or something.
yeah, I don't
Sorry.
think the flag's orange.
Sorry,
I don't know.
Natalie.
I might be completely wrong.
I
Oh no,
probably just
she's
insulted
saying
her
yes. So is your flag orange? Yes,
flag.
I think.
Do the Google, but not me.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't do it with my
Yeah,
phone.
but she lives there, so I was trying to figure she'd tell us real quick.
She said yes, and I think she's saying yes to the flag, but I'm not sure.
Cool.
She might not be saying yes to that. She might be saying yes to something else.
Yeah.
we said.
That is cool.
I'm untangling my yarn.
Oh,
Oh no.
I do want to tell y'all so that you feel better and that Joe cannot totally fuss at us because apparently when Anne's not here, we misbehave. So sorry.
I know. Since when is Anne the mom that moms us?
Let's be real. Anne's a mom
youngest.
that's not a mom, and she just is. Like she will be a mom, a great mom. Trust me. But she's more polite than we are. And I don't mean polite like yes, ma'am. I mean she thinks more before she speaks.
Oh.
Where's the
Well,
fun in that?
What, just like Joe does?
So
Joe,
anyway, I want
in the
to
chat
tell
there.
y'all
Oh my.
and tell
Shots
Joe
fired.
Bob. I want to tell Joe Bob that it was not that. Let the record show that the local yarn store that I go to that we have now, which is like 30 minutes away, I drive a whole 30 minutes, Neil, for a knit night every now and then.
Oh, it must be good.
Well, they're really cool people, and it's great to finally have a local yarn shop. So I missed the Wednesday after Mardi Gras because I was just, unpacking and stuff. So when I went this past Wednesday, I was like, she's like, man, you missed and y'all would love Kat because she's like German and she gives zero F's and she just says what she needs to say. And she's like, I don't care what anybody does, just knit. She's just like, I don't care what you believe, who you sleep with, whatever, just knit. But like, I said, so how'd it go? And she's like, oh man, we had such a good time. It was great. And like the regulars were like, yeah, it kind of went off the rails there. I was like, well, what did y'all talk about? And they were like, well, somehow we got on the topic of book smut. I'm like, did you know there's dinosaur smut? And they were like, yes, we do. We talked about it.
Do they know
But they
about
watch our
Caro?
podcast.
No, they just so happened to talk about the fact that there's dinosaur smut at the
No
local
way.
shop knit night. So I would like to let the record show that it's not just us that are deviants.
I have a confession to make. I thought that was all just an in joke that was made up. I didn't
No,
realize.
No,
was
we
real.
researched it. I found book covers and
Yes.
I read some of the
Yes.
reviews.
So
And
I
it's not
So is
all
this-
Chuck Tingle.
Are the dinosaurs smutty with each other, or is this
No.
a
No.
human dinosaur
Human dinosaur baby.
aberration or whatever they call it?
Yeah.
So
Well,
they
at
did
least
not
the
know.
dinosaurs were alive creatures. The Clippy.
They did not know about the Clippy smut. So I told them about the Clippy smut, and that just blew their mind. And so
I was really
like,
happy that we discovered that together.
So I just want y'all to feel better that it is not just us.
Do you have to tell me that, or do I not want to know about?
Okay.
it?
No, you don't. No, Actually, I changed my mind. Tell him about the
Well,
Clippy.
he might
Tell
not
him.
know. He
He's
might not
old
have
enough
Clippy.
he's old enough to know Microsoft Word back in the day with your helpful little paperclip.
Oh yeah.
Clippy.
Yeah, he's
well,
got his own smut line.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, people want to bang Clippy for some reason.
Is it the little bit that used to bend out? Is that what?
I have no idea. Did not read it. Did not purchase this. I was just happy to discover that it existed, and then I pretended like it didn't.
Oh my.
Oh, okay. Back to flags.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay, so I
Oh,
did think it was
Joe
blue.
said you're just naughty, Amy.
I didn't think
Okay.
it was an orange flag.
But there's a separate orange pennant added to it. Oh, what's the pennant for then? Just
I don't know.
'cause. That's cool. Yeah, so I just want y'all to feel better that it's not just us.
I did not
That's-
feel bad at all. I know
that's- I-
exactly.
I didn't
I-
feel that at all. I was a little shocked because I
Zero
it's not-
guilt whatsoever. But I just want y'all to know that it's not just us. It's us that.
You're
that
telling us
smarts
there's a community out there
There's
that
a
we should
community.
see.
I mean,
yeah.
realistically, there's a lot that goes on in anime, so it doesn't surprise me that people write books with that
Yeah,
with other stuff too. So my daughter explains a lot of these anime storylines to me, and
I'm sorry.
well, she writes anime articles for CBR.
See, I don't write articles. I just dive into like this crazy shit, and I'm just like, well, at least it's not here. And then sometimes it kind of leaks over into like Western. And I'm like, no, it needs to stay
Yeah.
over there.
She uses her watching it to turn it into articles and get paid for it. So
Yeah, but like smut is like lost on me because I'm always like, there's no way her leg bent that way. Like I am not good with just like science fiction is lost on me because I'm like, no, that's not how that would. And my husband's like, you have to like pretend. And I'm like, no, what do they call that? The suspension of disbelief. I can't do it.
Yeah.
well,
I'm
it's
a
I'm
not
like,
even
no.
science fiction. Okay, like we were watching The Music Man, harmless, good movie. You know, Robert Preston, all the music. At the end, the little boy band suddenly transforms into all these adults in marching band uniform with 76 trombones.
Oh,
What happened to the kids? You know,
magic.
where did they go? Why are there so many
Magic.
adults now?
The other night we watched A Quiet Place, which is a decent
Oh.
movie series. I liked Quiet Place 1 because I do like John Krasinski, and we watched the second one, and then the third one is it's not really a prequel, but it's back to day one that the aliens came. So if you don't know
That's
what the movie
technically
is,
a prequel. Yeah.
it's technically a prequel.
Yeah.
So, but John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, none of them are in it. So it's other characters from the day that the aliens came. So if you don't know what the movie's about, catch up. Basically, aliens land and try to kill us, but they have no senses other than sound. So you have to be quiet, or they'll find you. And in the original first movie, the daughter is deaf, so the whole family signs. So it's a lot easier for them to
Oh,
not
how
die.
convenient.
I know, convenient. So they don't die as fast.
Is that
So
the
anyway,
one with no spoilers, but the kid makes a noise and
Yeah.
Yes.
and then flies to the moon or something? So don't
Yeah.
no, no,
spoil
no.
Twice
it.
the moon.
So,
Yeah.
but on day one, in the third movie, it's called Day One, Quiet Place of Day One. There is a cat in it all throughout the movie, and the whole time in the movie, I'm like, ain't no way, that cat would have meowed and been taken out like 10 times. Like, there's just no way that what is this? The world's quietest cat? He's going through like terrible, horrific things with his human, and he's not meowing.
My
Yeah,
issue
man,
with
it'd
The
be
Quiet Place is that they've got like this one scene where they're walking like on sand, and like I was like, you're out in a forested area, my man. Where the fuck did you get all this sand? Like this
Oh, I know.
this isn't one bag of sand. This has to be like a couple hundred bags of sand. I didn't
Yeah.
see no hardware store.
Well, they probably remember they were like in New York or something like that, or they were somewhere on the
Yeah,
East
but
Coast.
still, like
And
I'm
he
like,
probably did go to the hardware store or he had play sand or something like that. I don't know.
yeah,
but
that's
who
a
knows?
lot for
But-
as far as they
But
were
a cat
walking.
not meowing for a whole 2 hours. No.
Yeah.
I
no.
did see they're remaking another 90s movie.
What?
Oh, how
Single
exciting!
white female.
What?
Yeah. Why
But the
can't-
stars
why
are not
can't-
gonna
no,
be-
why is it always
but
gotta
the
be the
stars-
80s? Why the 80s? Pick another decade. Leave mine
Well,
alone.
It's
I
going
know.
to have to be a polyamorous black woman.
No,
this
Yeah.
time,
no,
isn't it?
no, they're
Polyamorous black
Hispanic.
female.
Well,
Oh.
Jenny Ortega, who's Hispanic, and then the other woman looks like she's black. So I don't know how she's supposed to look just like the other person if she doesn't look like the other person, because that was part of the whole first
That
one.
was part of the thing is they look
Because
alike.
Bridget Fonda and
It'll be
yeah,
about cultural appropriation this time.
I don't know, but I was
Not
just
about-
like, why?
Well, how can it be single white female if we don't know what a female
Well, I'm
is?
sure they'll call it something else.
What is
Yeah.
a woman? I don't know.
It'll be polyamorous, black, non-binary. Is that what
Maybe
they
the
call them
reason
when-
they're confused is because they both have multicolored hair, and that's how they identify. And like the rest of it is like blanked out, but the multicolored hair.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like
man.
must remake. Really, I mean, I know the reasons
Yeah.
why, but
No more remakes. Knock it off, people. Although I will say, I am cautiously optimistic for Spinal Tap 2.
yes,
Can I make a
mostly.
confession?
you've
What?
never seen Spinal Tap. Neil, what were you
No.
doing? Were you
You're
too busy
British.
getting
How
arrested
do
in
you know
Canada?
this movie?
There were certain films that I just that time when I was traveling, I didn't get to see much TV at all. So that was nearly 2 years.
Because you should appreciate the British hair band 80s thing that they were making fun of, you know?
So it was. I didn't even know it was British. I thought it was
Well,
American.
Well, it was an American made movie, but they were British. They were a British rock
Ah,
band.
Right.
And then
yes, but the actors weren't necessarily British.
no, they weren't. None of them were they?
Maybe that's why I didn't
Canada-
watch it, because maybe they got really bad accents.
No,
No,
actually they're
it-
not bad.
They're not bad, and it's part of the whole feel of it.
No, none of them are British.
Yeah. Well, did you say it's a Canadian film?
Oh, it might be a Canadian film.
Maybe.
If it's a Canadian film, their union law is that any film made in Canada has to only be staffed by Canadian actors.
Oh, wow.
I don't know that they were all Canadian. So I don't
I'm
it's a
pretty sure
Rob-
Michael McKean is.
I
a
learned
Rob-
that because the people that I work with, when they were trying to do a film and they tried to do it in Canada, they about faced because they tried to enforce like that union law on them, and of course they were like, we can't afford
I don't think
Canadians.
it's a Canadian film. It just so happens to have like Eugene Levy and some Canadian.
Well, a lot of them were on
popular actors in it.
SCTV.
Huh?
They were on SCTV together.
They were, but like it's a Rob Reiner film. And
Oh, I know, but I mean that's where they did a lot of skits together before they made that film.
Yeah, but Hank, I don't think not Hank Azaria. What the heck's his name? not because Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, and Harry Shearer.
Very sure, yeah.
Harry Shearer's not Canadian because he's from here.
Right.
So
But I think he might have been on SCTV at one point.
maybe so, yeah. But anyway, it is a fabulous mockumentary of 80s rock bands with tons of cliche, tons of politically incorrect everything. So that's why I'm cautiously optimistic that since the three of them are in it, that they won't woke it, up.
Bet they do.
But it's
They
one of my
do.
husband's favorite movies. Like we love that movie. We could quote it like all the time. Like
I was laughing because they were talking about the casting of the Harry Potter show on HBO.
Oh, Snape. Is it Snape
And,
that
yeah.
caused the problem?
But I guess they were talking to Jason Isaacs, who played Malfoy, and he says, I sent in my audition tape to play Hermione. I'm just waiting to see if they get back to me. He actually wants to play Snape, though, he said. But I think that would be too weird.
Yeah, too confusing.
Adam's in the house.
hey,
Hello,
Happy St.
Adam.
Patrick's Day.
I
He must have
guarantee you
heard.
Adam gets Spinal Tap references.
He must have heard us talking about Canada, and suddenly he appears. It's like we summoned him.
I promise you, Adam knows the words to Big Bottom.
Speaking of Canada, did you hear what Trump said? It's absolutely hilarious that they couldn't keep their national anthem when they become the 51st state, which I just thought was so funny.
The trolling is pretty funny, I gotta admit.
Yeah, that's always been an interesting situation. Like when they were talking about like the tariffs a little while ago, I was kind of sitting there like that one gif of somebody like looking around a bit, because as somebody that ships to Canada all the time, Canada always hits us with tariffs after we ship, right? And then they hit us with hidden fees, and not just to us, but also to the sender as well. So it's like, I don't think we've ever been able to like. Like we had like a point where like, do we want to keep sending to like Canada because this is weird, right?
Mhm.
But we at this point we've just basically told like the Canadians like, look, we're gonna do the best that we can, but like maybe you should vote differently because we don't like we can't do anything about it.
The thing that gets me about the tariffs is the amount of people that don't understand how they work and what
No,
they
they
are.
don't.
Yeah.
And it's like, do they not realize that practically every other country in the world is
Right.
imposing tariffs on your, on
Yeah,
goods
we
that
just,
come to you?
you know,
And it's like, and he's only matching them, because
Right.
like we do it, Britain does it. We have tariffs for anything that comes in from America, so he's only doing the same back.
Right.
Kind
And
of fair
it's
enough.
rightfully so. It's just gonna take
Yeah.
it's gonna take
Well-
a bit to work out these kinks and figure it out. In the
Yeah.
meantime, yes, things are gonna cost more,
but it's
so.
also increased industrialization here. A lot of companies
Yeah.
are moving back here.
And you're going to
It would-
buy
I would
more
hope so,
American,
but,
which is what you should do anyway. We should all be buying from our own countries, really.
We
shouldn't
should, but
first,
like we're kind of still screwed in construction because we've still never recovered from Russia was where the vast majority of steel came from for some
Yeah.
reason. Stainless steel. I don't know why. I don't understand how. So stainless steel never recovered the price from all that, and so now it's only going to get worse. So
Was it Reagan that did that? Because I know Thatcher did that to our steel industry as well, and I wondered whether they did that together because they were best buddies, weren't they, for a lot of the stuff they did?
I don't know. I mean, you hear about everybody that's like, yeah, my grandpa worked in a steel mill, and nobody does anymore.
Yeah, Debbie loves yarn. I saw that too. That French MP, Europe MEP, wants us to give back the Statue of Liberty in pieces, or does he want the whole thing chipped on it? I mean,
Oh, talking of Macron, did you see how he and Zelensky greeted each other? It is hilarious. They did all but a full-on French kiss.
did Macron wear
holding
camo
each other's
with him?
hands, and somebody did a brilliant AI thing where they ended up dancing, really romantic with each other. But you should watch it because it is just sickening. Not because it's just sickening that they're world leaders acting like that.
Right.
It's
Well,
kind of
Macron,
like-
you got to figure he's messed up. Think about it. His wife was his teacher.
his wife was his male teacher. There's that.
Well, whatever.
bridges
whatever.
Talking about the
the,
French thing. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry,
mean,
what?
she
Okay.
she left her husband and children and married him. She groomed him. I mean,
But wait,
He was
he's
only
like
14,
male.
wasn't he?
Yeah, no, my favorite is when you saw like the military service photo of when they were 20, and I'm like, these two, yeah.
But wait, go back. Neil said it was his male teacher?
Well, they say
Yeah.
that she was born
Well,
male.
Candice Owen has done an absolutely brilliant series on this, where she's done a real deep dive into it. And I mean, I know some people don't like her, whatever, but when you look at what she's uncovered, it's very difficult to
Argue.
there's no history of her as a
Uh,
female child. put it
There's
that
no
way.
kid photos. There's like nothing.
There's
uh,
well, the kid photo is the brother. So what they're saying is that she became his own sister, and that she refers now to herself as a brother that is no longer in touch with them. So that's kind of one of the theories.
Well,
But yeah,
it-
when you look, it's like
that
wow,
just falls
that's
in the
an
category of crap I don't like to think about, and I'll just play with my knitting.
Oh man,
so
like
over,
when she
Well,
over
was
we could
teachers
go
should
down the
not be
whole
grooming younger
Obama.
students. Period.
What, Neil?
I just said we could go down the whole Obama route because Michelle, you know,
No, I'm not
Michael
going down that
husband.
hole. No, not doing
Obama,
it.
who's been romantically
she's got
attached to
photos of
Jennifer
her.
Aniston.
She's got kid photos though.
I'm not going down that rabbit hole. There's enough crazy in the world to invent that we don't need to invent crazy. So
Yeah, allegedly, we don't want to be Joan Rivers.
Oh yeah, allegedly in Minecraft land on that one server
exactly.
that we always go to
Speaking
for
of
some reason.
Minecraft land, I'm told the mediums will be removed soon of Minecraft land.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
The mediums are supposedly coming out soon, so I can't wait for
Are
that.
they?
To take a picture for y'all, and you can see
Oh.
me celebrate the mediums getting
Oh,
removed.
I need to tell you all something. We've brought in that online harm bill, which is the most stupid thing in the
Oh,
world.
jeez.
I thought
So
you were gonna
now-
take that out of your server. Didn't think you were gonna put that in Minecraft server.
Well, sadly, it's gone through Minecraft.
Oh.
No.
So, yeah, I don't quite know yet how that's going to affect just us ordinary Minecraft citizens, but it's going to have a big effect. So I think I'm going to have to find a Minecraft virtual, whatever it's called, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
well,
Oh, and we're going to war. They've told us we're likely to be conscripted for war,
Mm-mm.
which is like, oh, here we go again. They've even told us the ages, and I was thinking, oh, I'll get out of it because of my age. But apparently, no, I might still be called to do something. So he's like, well, I won't be able to do much. So knit.
I can knit
some
you
socks.
a jumper.
well, if anyone wants to make Amy's crochet granny square pattern and go a little goth, they could use skull squares
Oh, that yes.
Oh.
and make their
I am
Halloween.
not.
And then
I'm
you
not
could do it in
judgmental.
orange, and then it would count for orange as well.
Yep.
Oh, Caro, have you seen the sweater that I've been? I don't want to say designing because it's a vintage one that I'm just bringing up to date with. The
Adam, I
skulls.
don't want to think about that sort of thing. I'd rather think about the dinosaurs.
Oh.
Oh
What
God, I
I-
don't even want to know.
I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, I
of
was
it
about to
later,
say, just send it
Yeah.
to me.
I don't
Yeah.
even
because
wanna
it's worth learning to knit for.
I guess we could talk about dinosaurs again.
Well, I'd
No,
rather
let's-
that than
let's-
wanting to know about who's the receiver in the Obama's family.
No, but I want to
Oh,
talk about
Barry,
that.
definitely.
Oh,
Barry.
I was about to say like that, like what you said and what Neil said did not line up, and I was like, did we walk into like a touchy subject? Like, are the skulls? Like, I've been doing this for a while. Oh my goodness.
No,
I
but
think
I
we
was
need to
gonna-
have a dinosaur issue of
I
blog.
was going to ask Neil, did he enjoy the pictures that I sent him from the Gulf of America?
Oh yes,
Great.
yes.
I sent you pictures from the Gulf of America. I did not actually get to put my toes in the Gulf of America because we stayed on the Mobile Bay side and we never went and parked on the Gulf of America, but it's same water, just different directions.
They'll look good in that scarves, wouldn't they?
Blockbuster Videoland.
Oh man.
That's a
I
blast.
heard
from the
that was
past.
making a comeback after after some stuff with Netflix went down.
Well,
Speaking of
luck to 'em.
Netflix, that's another speaking of that I want to watch that docudrama of Toxic Town about
What's it
the
the women, yeah,
Thia
Mallow.
Malide in
Yeah.
UK.
The what in the UK?
It was a pill they gave pregnant women for morning sickness.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, thalidomide.
Yeah,
The
that.
women, yeah.
I can never say it.
Did you not have that in America?
We
They
did. We
But
did,
there's
But-
a show on Netflix.
but I think y'all had it longer, and
Yeah, I
there
think we
was
did.
more of
Yeah.
a cover up over it, and so it's got Jodie. Who the heck was the 13th Doctor?
Oh, Whitaker.
Jodie
Whittaker.
Whittaker is in it, and a couple other people, and it looks really good. So I was shocked that Netflix had it on, because that's one of those, that and like Tuskegee and a couple of things. Those are like your gateway drugs into being anti-vax.
Well, yeah, I was
Mm.
just going to say, that's the response when people said we should have all been vaxxed and to
Right.
refuse.
Right.
Just list those things.
Like, it's like, have you heard about the Tuskegee experiment? Have you heard about the Fauci AIDS trial?
Which was the one where they gave all the black men syphilis or
Tuskegee.
That was
chlamydia?
the Tuskegee.
Oh, is that one? Right.
Tuskegee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, like, that's literally the example of, here's what happens when they say it's safe and tested and it's not, So,
Excuse me.
Well,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of studies being done on like medications that they told us that were safe like forever ago,
Right.
and now they're kind of like, after 20 years of data,
Yeah.
we have determined
Right.
that this is actually not good for anybody. Please stop
Right.
taking it. Like,
right.
Well, AstraZeneca, the was taken off the market here. I don't know about there
Mhm.
because almost straight away it was found to be not safe.
Right. I don't
they're
know
still
if
not
I don't
admitting
think
it
it's still
publicly.
here. I don't
Cisco now
know.
sells birth control. Costco now sells birth control pills without a prescription. Wow.
Yep.
Well-
They're called, I forget what
Oh,
they're
I
called.
wanted to ask you something. I've been watching Yellowstone, which I'm really
Oh.
enjoying, really,
Okay.
really enjoying. And there was a flashback scene, and this has just reminded me, where the Beth in it has to, she wants to have an abortion because she's obviously got pregnant and she's young. And the brother takes her to a reservation abortion clinic. And they say that they only do abortions, but then they sterilize, they do a hysterectomy at the same time. Now, what I wanted to ask you is that something that happened like historically? Why did they do that on reservations?
That's not typically how regular abortion clinics are done in America.
Right. So it might not be a thing. It might just be something.
Well, it might
for
be a
the-
reservation thing that they just did to do, but I can't speak to what
I don't
what
know.
happens on the reservation stays on the reservation generally. So
Oh,
yeah, they
okay.
don't usually
Um,
tell us anything.
no, they
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
But I mean, could it have happened? Sure. And
Probably,
there
it's
are
probably
some.
based on some.
There are
It's probably
some,
true. That's like,
It's probably.
Well, I was
Yeah.
thinking that, to
But
kind
there
of
are some ways if it
curb
goes
the
wrong.
population there.
If it goes wrong, that it can cause sterilization.
Right. Yeah.
So there are, it depends on how they do it. And I mean, if what I know of Yellowstone, that'd be going back to probably the 90s for her, right? Probably
Mhm.
if she was
Yeah.
a teenager. So,
Have you seen it? Did you watch it?
I watched the first episode and I was like, what is the big deal with this?
Oh, yeah. I had to watch the first episode 3 times before I could get beyond it, and I
Yeah.
hated
Oh,
that
Kat says
character.
reservations don't have to follow federal law.
Ah. Yeah, and one of the things they said in it, again, it's a TV show, so I don't know how much of it is real, but they were saying that people who live on the reservation, they are bound by separate laws that visitors to the reservation aren't bound by.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
So I
That's
was thinking
correct.
it'd be the other way around. I would
No.
be thinking,
Mm-mm.
well,
No,
so I just
that's
wondered
correct.
what those laws are. What are those specific
There's
reservation
different
laws?
things, yeah. Well,
Depends
that's
on
one of
the
the reasons
tribe,
why
the
there's like a lot of casinos on reservations, because
Yeah.
they don't
I-
have to abide by our regular laws about gambling. And
Or
stuff
the
like
one,
that.
the one
Right.
by my place that sells fireworks.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
what they're known for.
And do they have a thing where they all get a share in the profit from the casino?
that
Is
depends on the reservation
depends,
itself.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
some do, some
there
don't.
is such a thing as getting paid just because you're native. It's a
Mhm.
thing,
Right.
but you have to apply for it. It's a
Yeah.
whole thing.
One of my customers who I sold art to was native, and she got checks every quarter
hmm
from the
Wow.
profits from the casino that everyone on the reservation who was a member.
So by the time it had filtered down, was it a lot of money, or was it just
She got a decent amount.
right enough not to work?
Not
Not
if you
the
were
ones I
careful,
know.
yeah.
Not the ones I know.
I mean,
We
she
had-
she got maybe like 15,000 every.
I'm just
4
thinking
months.
because I reckon in 20, 30 years they'll be doing that here because I'll be native and I'll be a minority.
You're just planning
yeah.
ahead. That's what you're doing.
You'd be like,
think,
I have an
what can I get
original
for free?
Brit. Give me my cut.
Yeah, when I was teaching at the charter school, so the charter school that I used to work at was for children that had like disabilities that were so extreme that the public school sent them to us, right? And it was like a last ditch thing because to send a kid to our school would have cost the district $19K, right? So they were really hesitant about doing it. But we had one kid and he was from the reservation, and he had like, there was stuff going on. Like his file was one of the few that like I had to sit down and like stare at the wall and like breathe carefully for a little while. But you know, one day he came in and he was doing this number, right? And as a teacher, when you see this, you're kind of like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so you know, the nurse just happened to be at my campus that day, and I was like, you know, I got a feeling, can you take a look at this kid? And she's like, oh yeah, I would love to. And then she comes in with like, you know, a bright smile and a piece of paper, like a stack of them. She's like, okay, they all have to take this home. And I look at it, says lice on it, and I'm like, right? So every kid had to take it home. And the rule when you come to a public school and you've got lice is that you have to get rid of it. And then you have, you know, when you're 2 weeks clean, you come back to school with a doctor's note. So 5 weeks go by and I still haven't heard from this kid, right? So the truancy officer, when it's a kid that is on the reservation, can only go up to the gate and be like, you know, is so-and-so here? And they can, you know, maybe they'll answer it or not. But what was really interesting is that we got a call from the reservation. They were like, have the police show up at this time. And so you know, and so we did the thing. And the story that I heard from the police officers that they drove up to bring the kid to school, and this kid was kicking and screaming the entire time. These two grown men like took him and threw him over the gate line. So then he wasn't safe by the reservation law. So they grabbed him and threw him in the car. And I was like, thanks for bringing him here. He's going to be like a complete fucking delight.
Yeah, lovely. Guess what, though? To update on that, they don't even tell you anymore when they have lice.
No. Oh, no.
No.
Well, I
They-
still have a carton of the
they
lice stuff
can't.
in my bathroom cupboard for that, just in
They
case.
can't tell the parents when a child has lice
Oh,
because it's
someone
because
else's
it's-
medical.
It discriminates and causes a hysteria. And maybe it's just in my state, but they pass the thing.
You don't have to say who it was. You just have to say lice was detected, right? Can they at least do that?
Nope.
wow.
It just travels.
I'm
word
never
of mouth
teaching
among the
again. Fuck that
mothers.
shit.
Yep.
No, I'm never sitting foot in the classroom
Look,
again.
when my kids were little, I kept their hair real short.
That's insane.
And a little dirty because it's a myth that they like dirty hair. They actually really like clean hair. And so yeah. No, yeah, I was like, I'm sorry, what now? Like you had
Man,
to
I would
find
have
out.
quit like the moment I heard that. I've been like, what? I'm out. Fuck that.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
there
we
were a
had a-
couple of times where they were like, "Yeah, mom, I think such and such had lice." I was like, "Come here."
You know, there was a period where we did that with my son's hair, and my daughter's hair was piled up tight on top of her head that nothing with so much hairspray on it to cause a barrier that
Yeah.
nothing was getting into it.
Yeah,
That's fucking wild.
yeah. Now I will
My
say
beard's
when they were
itching
really
now.
when they were really little, my children were the minority of the school, so I never really had to deal with it. And so it wasn't until they got older in different area, I was like, oh crap. I'm like, now I have to like think about this. Because, generally speaking, not every race gets it a lot.
No, I'm
So-
just.
So, yeah, they can't say a word. So
Wow.
now it's just like, teacher A tells teacher B, and the teacher B tells the baseball coach, and the baseball coach tells the, the little league parent, and then, it just spreads.
Which is worse, isn't it?
It's
Which is
worse.
a lot worse. Yeah.
Like if you just sent a letter home that said there is lice detected in the
Yeah.
school, but I guess they would be sending home a letter every week or whatever. But still,
Oh.
like it's not like it said Bobby has lice. It's just lice has been detected. And there definitely was no staying home for 2 weeks. Oh no. You treated and they went
Yeah,
back. It was
you
like
went
24
back, yeah.
hours. It was like
Oh
24
my
hours.
goodness. No, we didn't.
Yeah.
No, it was 2 weeks
No.
for us.
Oh
No,
no.
it was
No.
3
Because they
days
got to
until
comb
the-
out the eggs and all the other crazy
No.
stuff.
No. You don't even have to prove it's gone.
Oh.
I'm never teaching again. I mean, I was trying to not ever teach again, but like that right there.
I mean,
Man.
when I was teaching in the mid 2000s, yes, it was still a thing. We still told the parents because I was really good at checking it. I don't know why. It just was a thing, and I'd pull my hair back and put a thing over my hair, and I would check it.
But you know
and-
what's weird about head lice is what I found out is that they won't live in beards.
Really?
They will. Yeah, they won't live in it. I mean, they might live in this bit here,
Well,
maybe.
because it's not, your scalp is different than your
Different,
chin.
yeah.
Oh,
But what
yeah,
will
true.
live in your beard is the other kind of lice that you definitely don't want to get.
Oh.
And they'll live in your eyebrows and your eyelashes as well, apparently.
Look. Here's some pretty yarn. Joe, sit
Without
there, Joe. I
lice.
changed the subject. Are you
Well,
happy?
See,
Look,
I'm
that-
just aiming to get in that notebook, Amy.
That's a new yarn color if Tina is still watching.
Yes.
Now without lice.
I like
Say
your
that.
callback.
I can say, does it sometimes come with lice? Come on.
Now without lice. Deloused. Rit, just for you. What it was called? What was it called? Rid? What was it called?
Rid.
Rid.
I think.
That would be
Right.
such a weird thing to put like on a product description and lice free, right? Like, because then everybody's gonna be like, do all the products say lice free? And they start checking all the
Just
products.
this one.
Here's a book for you.
Oh God. What's it say? I can't see it.
It's backwards for us.
Yeah, what's it
is
say?
it? Squares, stripes, and lice.
Oh,
Oh, but that's the
Knitting.
lice knit stitch, though.
Oh.
Named after something.
That is funny.
Is that what it's named after?
Well, yeah, it's the little dots, isn't it? Why? What else could it be named after?
Ah, and I
No
get it.
way. I didn't know
See,
that.
it's knitting related.
I
It is
tried to change the subject,
educational.
Joe. You
It's
saw me.
educational. But is there like
Anne's comment. I missed it. Did you mention Anne's comment?
Yeah, I
but
did.
is there
No.
lice smut? Because then we could go full
Oh,
circle.
I'm sure we could write some.
you
It'd
know
be
what?
really
Let's-
short.
With my
let's-
limited searchability, I will find out.
Let's not go there.
It's too late.
Yeah, Diana said, "Let's talk wisdom teeth and dry socket again." Yeah, let's go back to the wounds we were talking
Does
about.
your louse have a blouse? It can be like a children's book. Oh, how many pages?
The
is that,
answer is
Joe?
no. This is an untapped market.
Oh, there you
Wow,
go, Kara.
we need to get into this.
I am not writing that genre. Fuck that.
So did y'all see the? I think I put it in Neil's chat. The book that Kat had from the yarn store. That was the woolly. Oh shoot, something woolly bush.
Oh, the naked one.
The naked, and it's like, and apparently there's a whole series. She found
Yeah, there
another
is.
one that's a series, and I was like, who's a lot to sit there and figure out all the patterns, and then knit these teeny tiny little naked men. I mean, there's even a vicar. with
Oh,
the
yeah.
collar.
That okay. I know what you're talking about.
He had
Yeah,
the
it's been around
collar.
for years, that though, wasn't it? I can't
I've
remember
never
what it was
heard
originally
of
called.
that.
I think they were
I've
called
never-
Nude Knits, weren't they? I think that was the brand name.
knits. Yeah,
Nudie
nudie knits.
knits.
Nudie knits.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like the little they're at the fair and they're throwing their little fair games, and then they're all naked, and then and it's multicultural. There's all kinds of naked people.
Oh
And-
man, equality.
It is very equal. And then,
DEI, yeah.
but I had questions about the vicar and why he was there with his little collar, and they all have shoes on, but they're naked
Well, they're all as God made them.
with shoes.
Well, Amy, if he didn't have his collar on, you wouldn't know he was the pastor.
Why do they have
Yeah.
shoes on?
Because rocks are on the ground.
And it's really intricate, boots with socks and everything, but then various styles of naked bodies. And I was just like, okay. All right. So apparently there's another one. She found another one. I'm like, oh my God.
So are you not going to find the patterns to knit some?
Kat has the book. So I guess I got to find the book. And that seems like very fiddly, tiny little, I mean, can I,
And you don't like doing bobbles, do you?
Mm-mm.
I'm
Yeah.
sure that's how they're made, maybe.
Yeah.
The
No.
vicar was allowed to be in the altogether because he didn't bite the apple.
Ooh.
Mm.
Well, I now know that it's not an apple. I now know that. It was never an apple.
We don't know what it is.
Mm.
My guess is a pomegranate. I don't know why. I just say so. I think it was probably a fruit that we don't have anymore, and that's why we don't know what it is. But
It would
Yeah,
make
but you
sense
don't
if
really
it's in a
take a
place-
bite out of a pomegranate. You just eat the seeds. So
I know, but that's just me being difficult. So
Oh,
Joe's
how
writing notes.
dare
She
you.
rests her case. We're gonna get a lecture the next time there's a Friday episode. I'm pretty sure
I get a whole page.
they're
I
trying, Joe. They really are.
I think
I
I
am
actually
not
finally
trying.
finished the whole
I'm
episode.
not
I
even.
literally listened to it on the way to knit night, and then Joe's like, "Look, look, look! If you can tell me what this is, you'll get a prize." I'm like, and I'm like literally driving, going, "I can't, Joe. I'm driving."
I don't even
Adam
remember
is
what it
just
was.
so quick. I can't get over how quick he is with the puns. So
It
he's
was
just
a
saying
pommy.
about the fruit. It was a pommy for Joe Bob.
Oh,
Well,
Yeah.
I'm the pommy. Yeah.
I don't know. She calls Tomsky that usually.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
she calls anyone from England a pommy.
Right.
Because she's racist, Joe Bob.
Speaking of Joe Bob's lovely country, did you see about that influencer who grabbed the baby wombat?
No.
No.
This American. Okay.
Aren't those like really violent?
Well, the like girl was like 19. She was an influencer. She claimed to be a biologist.
Oh, I did see that
And-
about it. Yeah.
They have her. She comes running over to her friend, going, I caught a baby wombat." Laughing and joking. They're all laughing, right? And then puts it back. Supposedly, you can't really tell on the camera. And they went all after her in Australia because you shouldn't take babies away from their mamas. You could hear the
No.
mama squealing. And the
Aw.
baby had
Wow.
mange, and so they were trying to get her to tell them where it was so they could check the mom and the baby because that could be deadly. And she claims that she saw them on the side of the road and thought the baby was in trouble, and that's why she grabbed it. But it's clearly not true because you could hear on the
Right.
video. Well, it turns out she's kind of messed up.
Oh,
Okay,
an
on her,
influencer that's mentally ill? How strange.
I guessed on her Instagram she used, because she's blocked it. She used to have a bunch of pictures of her like with hunting trophies, but never her actually hunting. So you don't know if she actually did it or not. And she sued PETA because she tried to get a job there and they wouldn't hire her. And she claimed it was ageist, but it was really because she was a hunter and PETA doesn't like that.
right.
So yeah, so she and her parents had sued PETA. So yeah, so Australia wanted to deport her,
Where
and the
was she
government was
from?
talking about kicking her out because of
Wait,
this.
where did they go? Because that's where we sent the criminals.
Yeah, but
Was
those,
she American or British?
she was
or something?
American, so only
Oh.
yeah, we didn't send
Oh.
that. So
Oh.
she left the country before
We had to take her back.
she came back, I guess.
I
but,
don't think being a criminal is like entry level requirement for Australia anymore. I think they've moved on.
Yeah.
since then.
but it was, and she wouldn't tell anybody where it was so that they could go check on the mom and the baby, because sometimes the moms won't take the baby back if they have the scent of humans on them.
I thought you were going to say she got mange.
Well, I don't know if she
Well,
got
let's
me.
hope she did.
But yeah, so the rescue organizations in Australia were really pissed because you don't take a baby
Gotcha.
from its mama.
Oh, and they're really strict in Australia about things like that. Really.
Well, yeah, you
strict.
shouldn't
Yeah.
be messing with the baby animal.
Yeah, Adam, the one of the heads of the government said she should have gone after like a baby crocodile or something if she really wanted to
Yeah.
grab a baby.
Tell her to come down here. I'll show her where the alligators are. We can help her find a baby if she wants.
Yeah, so that was crazy.
She can go feed them marshmallows. And then, oops, she fell in.
Oh no, it's another
Allegedly.
tourist.
In Minecraft land.
Don't come around here no more. I did see a cop cam video
Oh,
where
sorry.
it was some good parenting from a stupid child.
The
Because-
child did the parenting, or the
No, her
did the
parents
parenting?
did the good parenting despite the child being stupid.
Oh,
because-
okay.
The cops get like 9 a.m. they get a call saying this person's claiming they saw someone being kidnapped and put in the back of a white van and was going down the freeway, and the person was tied up. So they, of course, they're all going out trying to find this person where they said the intersection and everything was. They had the police helicopter. All these cops from different areas are coming out, and she's sending other messages saying, oh, they're there now, they're doing this, they're doing that. They get these calls and they can't find this van. So they trace the phone back to this suburban house, and they get there and they ask dad, because he's out mowing the lawn. He goes, oh, well, my wife and kids, we just got back from a trip. They're in the house. Do you want to talk to them? And the cops bring up the text messages. And the cop had called the phone number right before he got to their house, and the daughter answered and told him to fuck off.
Mm.
And then
Nice.
the cop, I guess she realized maybe this was serious. the cops get to the house and they just lay into her. Like they tell the parents what happened, and the parents want none of it. Like the dad was so mad at her. Like they're like, you need to tell us the truth. And she goes, I didn't do anything. I didn't do that. My phone must have been hacked or whatever. And the parents didn't believe her clearly because the cops had the text messages, and they showed them on her phone and she was just like, finally, she's like, the dad's pissed. And she goes, well, I don't know why you're still mad. I told you the truth. He goes, I'm still mad because you're an idiot. She's like 10 years old. And then she tried to put it off on her 7-year-old brother. She claims he told her to call 911. And they're like, and she said, but I didn't have a story. And they're like, well, was the brother with you when you did this? No. So you did this on a different day than when he told you, but you're trying to blame him. And he wasn't even part of it. And so they arrested her because it's a felony. And they explained to her how, the cops could have gotten killed in the accident and people could have died. And they wasted all these funds and all these, this rescue that wasn't a rescue and how serious and dangerous it was. And she pitched a toddler tantrum because she was not going in the police car. And she kept wanting her parents to go with her. And they're like, no, she can't. They can't. And the dad's like, can I ride with her? I'll even be handcuffed. And they're like, no, she needs to go by herself. This is what's going to happen. We're going to process her. And then you can find about picking her up. And the parents, they just went along with it. And they were so mad. And the mom was like, this is really hard, but this is what needs to be done because she needs to learn this lesson. And it was kind of refreshing because usually on the cop cams, the parents are the ones defending their children, saying they didn't do nothing. But yeah, the poor dad, he was just mortified. And the mom was just in shock. Like, how could you be so stupid? How did you not?
I'm not that mama. I'd be like, take their dumb ass to jail and leave them there all night long.
Yeah. Well, evidently she didn't get out right away. Like they thought she got taken right from the jail to juvenile detention. So whoever arraigned her thought it was serious enough to make her do a little bit of time to learn her lesson. But the parents are like, nope, you got to get in that car. This is what you did. I hope you don't do it. Something this stupid again. Like she made up this whole story and didn't even occur to her. And by 10, not to mess with 911.
I mean, you would hope that you would know that, but
She claimed she saw it on a YouTube channel.
Oh, good old internet coming in a jiffy.
Yeah.
That just reminded me, this online harm thing that the UK have brought in. Well, one of the things is that we're not allowed to see any violence because that will make us want to commit violence. So how they're going to police that and what it's going to
that doesn't make any sense because I've seen lots of people eating salad and working out and it's not made me work out or eat salad.
Yeah.
There's I know plenty of studies that say that that's factually incorrect, but
well, that's what they're going with. But they're also going with the whole thing if you can't buy a knife now, but it's but everyone's got knives in their kitchen.
When are you moving? When are you moving here?
When are you coming to the Gulf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soonish. When war breaks out, I'm definitely coming over there.
I mean, my children have seen me clean and they don't clean. So,
Yeah.
I'm just
voluntarily.
My mum kept a really clean house and I don't. So
yeah. So
I was alive in the whole video games violence generation, where they were going to Congress and stuff and music and video games were going to ruin a whole generation. When Twisted Sister testified and
Jane Fonda doing those workouts and I never did any of that. Did you?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're it's just weird because all the studies that come out about people with violent video games that they play, right? What they found out is that it's actually cathartic, right? So people play them and they actually feel calmer afterwards. And I would rather somebody play a violent video game and be calmer than have a meltdown and kill somebody.
It's therapy for my son. I mean, he discovered that because he's a little bit bipolar and ADHD.
But the wonderful cocktail.
But the video games, he gets his frustration out. He has to think to play them. Like he plays shoot 'em games, but you have to strategize and plan.
Right.
And he'll be playing a video game and reading something and doing something at the same time. By the time he's done, it's like all his frustration and stress is gone. And then
I literally made a note, the Notes app on your iPhone. I literally started a list today, and I called it Release the Rage. And it's things that people in my work environment do that annoy me a lot, that make me want to scream. And it made me feel better to just type it and Put it
Well,
aside.
have I told you about that weird condition
So
I've got?
if you made that list, you'd be like on a list.
What is the weird condition that you
Well,
have?
a lot of people have it, but they don't realize they've got it. It's very, very common. It's misophonia.
Yes,
So-
oh my
Oh,
God.
you can't see pictures in your head?
No.
No, it's when
Oh.
when people make certain noises.
Oh,
and
the
it
sound one,
drives you
okay.
insane. And I used to share a house with this girl who had her own issues with food, and she used to every meal used to take her an hour to eat. So I had to sit there for an hour listening to, and in my
No,
head,
no,
I wanted to kill her.
no,
Allegedly,
no.
no, literally wanted to kill her, and I got so worried about
No.
it that I actually went to have CBT.
Oh,
To
jeez.
talk about it. And what the woman said was, you need to go through it in your head. You need to actually murder
I
someone
do that.
in your head. And
See,
then it takes that feeling of you're worried that you're going to do it away, you know.
that is what I do. But I was told that line of thinking is traumatic because that's called disaster thinking, and that's my worst case scenario thinking. And I do it in the I want to kill a person thinking, allegedly in Minecraft, and also the bad things are going to happen to me, allegedly in Minecraft. And so I am literally the person, like, when my husband has not come to bed at a certain night, I will literally lay there and go, okay, what if he died in the chair? What do I do if he died in the chair? Well, what would happen if he
yeah.
died in the chair?
Yeah,
Like, and
my
I work
husband's
the
on
whole
oxygen and
scenario.
this breathing machine at night, and there's times when I just,
But the
is he
noises
alive or
are
not?
I think it depends what it is, doesn't it? Because obviously my thing isn't realistic. It isn't likely to happen.
right. Yeah.
Whereas Liz, it could happen, and it could happen.
Yeah,
Your husband,
yeah.
Not real,
saying
not
he could,
really. I mean,
but-
No,
but it's a
like,
bit more believable than
Yeah,
me
you're-
just going with a frying pan and hitting someone over the head. You know what I mean?
Because of
If
how
that
they
isn't gonna
chew.
happen. So maybe that's why she said that to me to kind
And,
of
and
go
I,
through
but I
it
could
because of
see
how
that
ridiculous
because it would
was.
make you, it would force you to push past the annoyance
Yeah,
and force
yeah.
you to see what happens on the other side of the annoyance to a real person, to a real human being, and the effects of that. And okay, and literally that's what we joke, like, you can't knit in jail. Okay, well, is jail time worth like doing whatever thing is driving you
You can
crazy? I mean,
crochet
it's a
apparently
you can crochet according to Orange is
Yeah.
the New Black, but
with plastic.
allegedly, think about it, allegedly, what would really happen if you acted on those impulses? To which
Yeah.
I say, this is what's wrong with the youths. The youths have not been taught how to handle what do we do when I have
Well, a lot don't know
rage
how to
feeling?
imagine, do they? They don't understand.
They don't know how to
imagining.
imagine. They don't know how to. But I mean, honestly, we have participation trophied these children out
It's
of
true.
common sense. I'm missing the word I want to use, but like practical skills, thinking. How do we,
Critical
they-
thinking?
Thank you, critical thinking. They
I'm
have
helping.
no critical thinking skills. Thank you for the critical thinking. They have no critical thinking skills. They have no work. Like, they don't know how
well,
to
when you're told that
communicate.
you're perfect and just the way
Right.
you are your whole life, and then
Right.
you can do no wrong, and then
Right.
everybody gets a trophy.
Then
you
you
don't
face
learn
no
those-
adversity.
Adam's asking if I put her in the wall like John Christie.
Jack Christie, I know who you're
And
talking about.
It wasn't the next door neighbor, by the way. I didn't hear.
But if
her
you
either.
if you face no adversity and no hardships, you never learn how to get over the
deal
little
with it.
bumps in life, because the big bumps are going to come and the big bad scary things are going to happen. But if you can't even handle they call me the wrong pronoun, then you're never going to handle your
yeah.
parents dying or your spouse having an
Well,
accident. or
yeah, I
she
mean,
trying
it's
to
like you
go,
see it
or-
in the police cams when these people just break down
right.
and they can't handle it, and they call my mom, like, you know what? I'm sorry, if I'd been caught by the police breaking the law, then my mother would have been the
Right.
last person in the world I would want to know.
Mhm.
Right.
You know,
But I mean, we have created, and I say we collectively as a society have created this multiple generations who, I mean, guys, seriously, it was not that long ago that 12-year-olds were lying to go die in battle for their country. It was not that long ago.
well,
And
okay, have you,
12-year-olds, like, I saw a meme the other day. It was hilarious. I was cracking up. It was an actual, it wasn't even a meme, it was a video. It was an actual friend of mine that I know. And her comment was, when I was 13, I was dying of alcohol poisoning in a field. My 13-year-old makes me watch her take the trash can out to the corner because she's afraid somebody will get her.
Wow.
well, okay, have
Yes.
you seen that video going around about the runner who bashed the other runner on the back of the head with a baton?
Yes, yes,
And
No,
now
I don't.
she's claiming she's the victim
yes. I
because
have.
nobody thinks about her mental.
Yeah.
clearly she's never been told no her whole life, and her
Right.
parents are defending her, and clearly she hit her intentionally. I'm not going
Right.
to say allegedly, because if you watched the different angles of the video I've watched, she
Yeah.
cocked her arm back and
Minecraft
whacked her on the head.
Minecraft Land, she hit her
Yeah.
on the head.
Yeah,
yes,
in Minecraft land. And
to make
the
her saber-tooth
NAACP
tiger.
is defending her.
Yeah.
The other girl's black too. Like,
Yeah.
well, people are saying mean things to this girl. Okay, nobody should be giving her death threats and racism. However, she should own up to what she did, but she can't
Right.
because she's never been forced to. I think she did it intentionally. I don't think she thought about it. I think she reacted.
Right.
And the other girl had beat her in the previous race a few minutes before. She had ended up in last place and the other girl won it and set a record. So I think it was already in her head that she wasn't going to let this girl beat her again.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch through the tape and go through the tape, she was the one who was closer to the other girl's lane, not
Mm-hmm.
to the inside. And if you've ever run track, you run as close to the inside as you can because that's the shortest distance.
Right.
And she moved over to her outer lane and was bumping into the girl trying to keep her from passing her. And then she wailed her with the baton. And I watched a sports medicine specialist talk about there's no way she claimed that she tripped, and because he goes, if you trip, you would fall forward, you wouldn't fall back because you're leaning forward to run. So you would not have fallen backwards if you tripped.
Yeah,
And
this all reminds me of like probably, man, maybe like 10 or 15 years ago. I was doing like that mental Rolex thing. And the first time I heard about a woman that went to therapy for PTSD because people were mean to her on Twitter when it was called Twitter, right? I remember like reading that and I was like, man, like what kind of like pansy ass society are we creating? Because like we all grew up where somebody like called you a name and you're like, okay, what about it? Right? Like that's all you got.
I know you are, but what am I?
Yeah. And
Tim
so
Jones,
yeah, and I feel like and I think part of this is also because I've been reading some memoirs later of like people who actually grew up through hardship, like you
Right.
know,
Yes.
like Antoine Fisher, right? Like that's the memoir I'm reading right now. Like that story is actually depressing as fuck. But he like went through like all this terrible stuff, and he rose above it and became a good person, and has gone out to advocate to help other people be good, right?
Right.
And you know, we get like, and I know what you're talking about, like these people that like do bad things and then they're like, what do you mean I'm accountable for it?
Right,
Like, I know I broke the law, but like when I did this in school, they just told me no and then sent me
Right.
back
Don't
to
do it again.
class.
Yeah.
Like I heard
Yeah.
somebody say, this is so true. Somebody said of people like that, you know, they've never been punched in the face, and you can tell.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
because it's like I've
ours
been
was
punched in
they'd
the
never
face.
been
I'm
hit in
sure
the face
other
with a
people have.
dodgeball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've never
Like
been
when
you've never held the flashlight for your dad while he fixed them.
Yeah. Like when I was in school,
Well,
I
while
got
he
into
buried a
2
body.
fights. Yeah, I got into 2 fights when I
Allegedly.
was in school, and both times they were like defending myself. And I remember I almost got into a third one. And the third one was like when this girl with like her little mean girl like came over to me. She's like, I'm gonna beat you up after school. And I was like standing there and I was like, why wait? You and I are here right now. And I dropped my bag and I was like, let's do it. Right. Now naturally I still got in trouble because they said I instigated the fight and like somebody else had to come over and advocate for me. But I like she never fucked with me after that because I was
Right,
ready to
well,
throw her down.
We used to get beaten up by the teachers.
Yeah, with the ruler and
We
shit,
really
right?
did.
Bring back the nun's ruler. Yeah, I mean, if you think, because it's like I remember I had an interaction. I don't really argue with pro-abortion people much anymore because it's just not really worth it. But I remember I had an interaction with a guy, and I did finally peg him in a corner. But he kept saying,
wording.
I did.
Did you say peg him in a corner?
peg him?
Corner.
Like,
Peg him.
peg.
You
Like
pegged
maybe-
him in
Stop
a
saying it.
corner.
Stop saying
What
it.
does that mean in England?
It's not England. It's
It's not English.
I think it's
It's
everywhere.
where
It's
a
a
girl
euphemism
attaches
for-
an accessory to use on a man.
Oh, like you put him in the corner. Like
No, don't
You
say that
peg him in
anymore.
the corner, you said.
Retire
yes,
that word.
peg him
Pick
in the
another one.
corner.
Yeah, don't put baby in the corner.
Yeah.
Put baby in the corner.
Y'all are weird. That's not. That's
No,
not,
that
okay,
is
must
that
be-
is a common
That's a thing. That
vernacular.
is a thing.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
stop. I don't know that freakadeek of the internet.
It's
so-
okay. You don't read
Just say
smut
you
either, so
cornered
it's
him.
fine.
Just say you cornered him.
Like you put a thing on him.
No.
Yeah, in him.
Like you put a pin. Is
No.
put a pin in it?
You
Is that,
put the
is
peg
that
on
bad now
and-
too? Put a pin in it. Is that bad? Can I not say put a pin in it? Anyway, I put him in his place. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
But
don't
anyway,
mention
be-
pegs.
because he said, okay, well, I don't know. He might, you know what? This dude probably had pegs all over the place. He had pegs every which way because clearly he thought killing babies was fine. So, but anyway, he said exactly. Oh, Adam. So he said that because I went on Let Them Live's YouTube channel and I explained like how I became pro-life and this and that. And some of it has to do with the fact that I am the stereotype that they say that, you were born in poverty, you were born in abuse, blah, 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 blah. You should get aborted. To which most of us say, well, you don't know what's going to happen to that child's life. How are you to say this baby is not worth living, even if they live in those deplorable, horrible circumstances? Because this is the same group of people that say, well, we need to go into these, countries and save these babies because they're in deplorable, abusive, horrible conditions. I'm like, but I thought you wanted to kill them because they were going to be raised in abuse. You got to pick one. But so finally, this dude told me I was glamorizing my childhood of abuse and poverty. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. What happened to the belief that we could come from crappy circumstances and overcome them and do better as human beings and then become functioning adults? When did that stop being a thing?
Well, the other thing is,
Like,
who gave us all a contract that we were going to have wonderful lives?
right. Who said we were?
You don't get it, do you? You
No.
just get what you're given, basically. And
Well,
Right,
if you don't have the struggle, how can you appreciate the good things?
Well, and that's kind of
Yeah.
like, I guess he was trying to say I was glamorizing because I said, look, I'm like, I was all these things that you say these babies should get aborted for. And I'm like, I'm fairly certain that my husband of 20 plus years and my 2 children and my friends in my family are okay that I wasn't killed. Like, I mean, I'm not being egotistical here. I'm kind of thinking you'll like me around. Maybe you don't. Oh, well, I'm here anyway. But like, you don't have a magic ball, magic, whatever the hell you call the fortune teller thingy. You don't know. You can't tell a future. You don't know if this kid's gonna cure cancer or become a serial killer.
Well, that's
It's
like
not
a
your
thing I
job.
saw. It
It's
says
not your job to say, to try to, eliminate the future. But also, and so finally I pinned the guy down. I pinned him down. Is that better? I pinned him down.
It's
pinned
acceptable.
him down and pegged him.
I pinned him down. I pegged him. And I said, so, sir, and he ignored me for like days. But I was like, oh, I'm not letting this go. I am not letting this go.
she really wants
And-
to get all the notes.
And I finally asked him, I said, okay, so let's pretend that we can make a world where abuse and poverty, because he even said special needs. I'm like, dude, you are literally saying that we have to kill disabled children. That's like a whole eugenics
It's
thing.
eugenics, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
So,
all
okay,
it is.
You know
let's-
what? Dyslexia is considered a
I'm
mental
like,
illness, so you
let's
have to kill those
pretend-
people too.
Let's pretend that we can make this beautiful world where there's no poverty, there's no abuse, nobody needs anything. They don't, I mean, it's we all have what we need. We're all perfectly whatever way you deem perfect. And that's that. Would you still support abortion? And he said, yes. I said, okay, well then you're not actually for choice, you're just for killing humans. Because you don't
Yeah, because
actually,
where do you stop with that? I've got
Right, how
really
do you-
shitty knees. Should I have been aborted because I was going to grow up to have really bad knees?
right.
If you've got a bad elbow, should you be
That's-
aborted?
That's like eugenics, Hitler-esque kind of,
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, if they're going to go after the ones with mental illness, can they go after the ones with the TDS first?
Oh, I read something today. I don't know whether it's true. It's probably in the Onion or whatever it's called. Is it the Onion? That they want to, in America, they're trying to push to have TDS
One of the states is,
recognized
yeah,
as
Oh,
a
gosh,
proper mental
seriously.
illness.
Wait,
which
what
is
that
which
again?
is Trump derangement syndrome.
Oh,
Which state is it? Do you know?
That's called being obsessive compulsive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, clearly they have other mental issues that they should focus on first.
Right.
Um,
I just think it'd be
but-
hilarious. If they
I
did
know
it.
it really depends because I know when they did the DSM-5 changes, they were trying to take cultural things into account. And sometimes I was like, no, that's acceptable because there is a trend that's happening with this demographic that doesn't happen with others, right? So for example, in Japan, they have a disorder that basically happens that when Japanese people go to France and are disappointed by how dirty and ugly and nasty the city is, they come home and they're like, they're just sad and they have to get treatment for it. That is the only demographic that has that response. Nobody else has it, just them. And
Japan has
so-
some very weird things, though, don't they? They have a lot of mental health that is
Have you
kind
seen
of stuff that
anime?
we don't know about.
Yeah, no, I mean Japan's got a lot going on. I'm not gonna make
Yeah.
excuses, but it's just the fact that in the DSM they gave them their own mental disorder, right?
Interesting.
Yeah, and so I remember when I read that initially, and I was like, "Oh man, this is just the beginning." It really is.
Well, if they're going to make TDS a thing, they should make all political derangement syndrome because it's not just.
No.
Oh yeah, it
But
crosses all.
I mean,
all-
it's a slippery slope when you're suddenly then you can call anybody who doesn't like your preferred politician crazy.
Exactly.
That's why I would rather go after whatever other underlying mental issues they clearly have.
When did
Why can't-
when did politics become tribal? Because it's tribal here, it's tribal there.
I'd
Whereas
say
years
about
ago,
15
you were
years.
able to
It was
criticize
like 15 years ago.
anybody.
Post
weren't you?
Obama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it?
Well,
'Cause
because the
I
media.
can see bad things that Trump does, and I can see bad things that, say, Nigel Farage does. But I
Right.
do
Well,
like
it's when
them in
it's
general.
when the media and journalism stopped being journalists and all became opinion.
Right.
Mm.
Well, they also made it sensational to have those stances. And then the
Right.
other thing that happened is, you know, like on YouTube, when you would have somebody that would come in and have like takes on like political opinions and stuff like that, they found the people that ranted more got more attention because nobody really wants to go see a video that's about good news. They want to see like people
That
being
they-
angry about
Exactly.
something,
Yeah.
right? And
Well,
so,
see? That
and then-
article I sent you, Neil, I'm working on, see, about, you know,
and that's
Yeah.
kind
the
of
life
like the trend.
before.
Yeah, that's the trend that a lot of the people
mean-
took after that.
When did we start like really putting our political signs in the front yard? Not to like the 80s, huh? Like Reagan, maybe?
Saying I voted for, yeah, that's
yeah,
like
like saying who
identifying.
you voted for.
Yeah, but we weren't like if somebody put like I voted for like Hillary in the yard in front of me, like I wouldn't be inspired to go over and kick the yard.
No,
Something,
but like
you know.
if you think about the historical here, like it wasn't really until what, maybe Nixon and Reagan that we really
Yeah.
started actually vocalizing who we were going to vote for as a community.
Well,
Because
it's when
they
it
were
started.
proud.
It's when TV politics went on TV,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Kennedy
yeah.
and Nixon was the first time.
true,
You know,
true.
from that point, it kills me because it used to be, even when they disagreed, there was still decorum. They still treated each other like human
Right.
beings in Congress
Right.
and Senate. They could
Right.
disagree, but they would still, be respectful. And now it's just, ridiculous.
It's narrative controlling too, because like
Yeah.
for the longest time in the last American election, they basically said that Trump wasn't going to win, and
Right.
everybody was like, "Okay, I guess we'll find out if you were right," and they weren't, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I guess I really noticed it like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, that definitely came
because
out more than
yeah, because I used to be able to talk to people about politics, and then I think around like that time frame, like I remember trying to have a conversation, and that was like the first time I had a volatile reaction from somebody about it, and it was just a
Right.
like it was a vanilla opinion, right? And like that person got up and left in a huff, and I was like, that person's dramatic. Like that was my first response.
Well,
But then
yeah,
that
and-
behavior became normal.
But when it becomes okay, it's okay to burn down homes and
right.
stalk and threaten politicians or judges or
I'm
anything
gonna-
else.
I'm gonna
That's
say when millennials could start voting is when it really. No offense, millennials. Sorry, but
yeah,
is that who was after us? Gen X was millennial. Was that the
Yeah.
next one?
yeah.
Because Gen Xers, we just don't really give a crap. Like we
We're
just don't.
feral. We
We
just
really don't. So I think, because I did see a funny meme. It was somebody said, "When are we gonna get like the first Gen X president? Will be like the most badass."
Well, what would J.D. Vance be? Is he a millennial?
I think he's a millennial. So
Or did he just miss it?
We
Yeah.
I think we need somebody in
wasn't
the middle.
Obama Gen X or was he a millennial? Obama was
No,
Gen X, wasn't
no,
he?
No,
before
he might
us.
have been a boomer. Was he
I think
a
he
boomer?
was a boomer.
He might
he
have
was a
just
boomer.
been a boomer, maybe.
Because Neil and I are on the both ends.
We're on the
right?
cusp,
Did we
aren't
figure
we?
that out?
Yeah.
We're both the end of Gen X. So he's the
Yeah.
beginning.
He
I'm
was
the
born
end.
in 61, so that is a boomer, I guess. It was close though. He was the end of the boomers.
Yeah. What is the beginning of Gen X? 60.
65, is it? Or 64?
I don't
Might-
remember now. Because I'm the very
Okay.
last one.
65 to 80 is Gen X.
Yeah,
So
oh,
I'm like the prototype, and you.
Yeah.
were
I was an
the,
early Gen
I'm
Xer.
79. So
I'm 68, so I was an early one.
Oh, I thought you were saying that's how old you were then. I was
No.
going, what?
I look good for it, don't I?
I
yes,
was
I'm
going to say,
79
wow.
years old.
Liz.
I am 79. I look great for my age. I am preserved.
But I just, it's crazy. Poor King Richard III, when they found him in the Leicester car park. See, I pronounced that right. They learned that someone had stabbed a sword in his arse. What a way to die.
That had to be Adam.
Of course.
Yeah, it's in response to Anne because Anne's saying about the me coming from the land of the War of the Roses. I think she's in response to me saying about tribal politics.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, it used to be Congress could fight in Congress, but they still, respected people as people. It wasn't, you get these congressmen saying, well, I hate America and pro Somalia. Or no,
Right.
it would not have been tolerated.
Right.
The level of disrespect in government and media is just beyond pale.
And our minister actually he did a sermon once, and then I don't remember what source it was that he used to quote it, but or to cite his sources. But he's a super nerd, so I know he had a source. But it was like this chart, and it was basically, I'm not going to say I'm gonna word it wrong, but basically like the character of the country, and that's not really the right word, but basically the scale of which we deem things appropriate. And it like was just kind of chill, like, was all fine, and then it just went like the moral compass of the country. That's really what I'm trying to say. Like, it was just like, oh, all right, cool, whatever, and then it just went skyrocketed, and everyone's morality just went down the toilet, and I don't remember what year it was that it started to skyrocket.
I bet it coincides with the beginning of climate change, the beginning
It
of
was-
identity.
It's Summer of Love.
No,
that
was
67
slower.
or 69.
That was slower. It wasn't that, because it wasn't that. It was because it was just like, okay, yeah, they're doing pot, listening to rock music, whatever. And then it just went. I want to say it was after the 80s, because of the whole drug era of the 80s and 90s and crime. And because
I blame
multiple things
Bob Geldof and Band-Aid. And
it's multiple things that
they have a lot to
contribute
answer
it,
for.
And then Diana dying, I think she added.
It takes because it took like crime, prison statistics, kids without parents. It took all these things that took a barometer of the health of the nation, I would guess you could say.
I think it was,
it was definitely like 80s, 90s, and then 2000s it went off the.
well, it goes through cycles, because when you have a cycle of war,
Yes,
you raise your kids to be self-sufficient and independent and be able to take care of themselves. But then when you get the next generation where there isn't that war,
right,
you raise your kids, you want your kids to have more and do more than you have, so that you're not raising them with those still
what's that phrase that strong times make
weak men.
men, and weak times make
strong
strong
men.
men.
Yeah. I mean, because the boomers, wanted their kids to have more, and our generation was the start of most of the computer technology and stuff. So,
right.
But it wasn't until millennials where kids were growing up with it.
Was university, because prior to the 80s, it was quite difficult. Not many people could do university. You had to go to work.
Well, isn't that when the government started subsidizing?
Yes, I think
people
so.
Getting in.
Yes.
And then in the 90s here, it became a thing where Tony Blair said he wanted every single person to have gone through university.
But not everybody.
And they become indoctrination camps.
Right.
But
definitely. University definitely was more of a, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be an architect, you're going to be an engineer, you're going to.
And then it went through, you're going to be a women's studies major.
Right.
Or an activist.
They still don't know what the curriculum for women's studies is. It's my favorite.
My son
I actually need to go to
in
bed, so I'm going to go.
That's right. She has a very strict bedtime.
I do.
I hope your finger heals quickly.
Me too. Maybe next week this will be off. We'll find out together. But until then, good night, everyone.
Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Bye.
Did y'all see that Harvard is going to let families who make under $200,000, they could apply for free to get in for free?
Yeah,
Really?
but they've dropped their requirement levels, and who's going to get in, because now that they're not allowed to in Minecraft fix it, who gets in, they'll find other ways to do it. Those people who have to add points to theirs
Gotcha.
to get in. And did you see they took the federal funding away from Columbia?
Right.
Which I think they should. I don't think the government should be funding. I think that if the government was not paying student loans and funding, then the prices would go down, and colleges would have to compete. They would have to be open
Yes.
market for students, and they would
Right.
fight for the good students. And I think
Right.
it would be, much better for everybody.
And actually, I've seen that in action because in my state we have a thing, and I don't even remember how it got started, but but guess who first funded it? He was an oil man. Look at that. And to this day, it still exists, and I think it's partially funded through his legacy, through state, whatever. I don't know how the pot of money gets there, but the pot of money gets there for every single Louisiana student, that if they make over a certain GPA, and there's different tiers of it, yada yada yada. If you go to Louisiana universities and colleges, you basically can go for free. Like, it's based depending on your GPA, depending on where you go, yada yada.
We have the
But
millennial scholarship, but it's not
but
free.
but they're in another college in Alabama, they will almost practically pay you to come. And they don't really pay you to come, but they will severely entice you to
Yeah.
come because they will actually give out of state students more than their in-state students. And you could probably get a better education because, let's
So
be
they can
real,
get the
Louisiana
funding. Yeah.
colleges suck. But
Yeah.
let's be
What was
We
real.
have-
weird here, until
we-
98, I think it was, or 97, it was completely free to go to university. We got grants to go to university, and not
Yeah.
many people went. But then the moment it was chargeable and people had to get student loans, everybody
Yeah.
goes. And I don't
Yeah.
get it.
We have the millennial scholarships. If you're born in Nevada and you graduate high school and you keep a certain GPA, they pay, I think it was about a third of your tuition if you went to a Nevada school.
Yeah, here they'll pay and it's different tiers, because there's two different pathways to graduate. You can either go to university or what they call tech, which you don't
Yeah,
have as
we
hard
have that
classes,
too.
Oh, why does it do that? Yay, you went to university.
Did you do
But
that?
I don't even
Sometimes
know
it's
what I
that,
did.
isn't
I
it?
think I did
Oh,
that.
it's the V thing,
It's
isn't
the
it?
V. I don't know how to turn it off.
I want it to do it now, but it won't do it.
But so if you get like a 4.0 and stay on the university path, you could pretty much get a free ride to like LSU, which is, I mean,
Yeah.
probably the best university in Louisiana, which is still sad. But but you could go for whatever. I mean, they don't tell you what there's no rule, it's not like you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be an engineer. No, you could go get your women's gender studies if you want. And our tax, I think it is somewhat taxpayer driven. I really don't know how the money flows, but it definitely has something to do with how we're
Yeah.
taxed.
I don't think you should be able to get taxpayer funded scholarships or grants for any major that you can't actually get a job in.
Right.
Maybe, things like that are actual careers is one thing, but
Right. And I'm totally cool with I understand and I don't know if they have that in the UK, but here we have things where, say you go be a teacher, and if I'd have wanted to, I could have gone and gotten further education degrees and then gone in, because I just chose early childhood. At the time it only had an associate's degree, which is fine by me because I didn't want to stay in school. But if you get your teaching degree and your certificate, you could go teach in inner city low income schools. They'll pay down some of your student loan debt.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Okay, cool.
All of it in the UK.
If you put in the time of where you might die, you should get your student loans paid off.
Yeah.
I'm cool with the whole GI Bill. You go serve your country and you want to go to college. Cool. Totally fine with that. But this whole, I got basket weaving and gender studies and I work at Starbucks. No, you don't need your student loans paid
No.
off. No, sorry.
Yeah.
Too bad. So sad. So.
And not every kid needs to go to college.
No.
Not
Adam's
every
pointing
kid-
out here.
it's
I
not-
don't know whether he means in the UK or whether he means in Canada. Where did you go to university, Adam? Is he saying he had to do all the Marxist stuff in his
My
second year?
my son had to do a women's study course, and then he had to do a couple of general things.
Do you
that
think they
were-
do women's studies now, though? What will they call that now, though?
His was called I don't even remember, but he
Do
was
they
required to
define
take
it?
it.
They definitely still have women's studies.
Yeah, they still have it. It was part of requirement at his school, and he took it online because he was not going to go, being a white male, in class to get yelled at about how he was
Right.
the cause of all their problems.
What's funny
that's
is
the professor, that was her attitude, so he took it online.
yes. And
Oh,
even
Adam went to University of Western Ontario.
oh,
Wow.
okay.
How do you manage that as a Brit?
Damn foreigners.
Well, Canada, they like, to be nice, maybe.
Because my friend, he got his zoology degree from Mississippi State. Mississippi State, that's pretty Mississippi. That's pretty southern. Like, that's pretty redneck. And they still made him take I want to say it was gender equality. I
Yeah,
want to say it was gender equality because he was like, but it was required for his
Wow.
undergraduate.
Yeah.
Now, he was taking zoology. What the hell does that have to do with
Yeah,
animals?
it's the indoctrination, though, isn't it? It's to,
well, yeah,
you know, and then those
Required.
people become leaders in the future and politicians in the future, and they're already thinking this nonsense.
So he said he said it was like so hard because first of all he's a Christian, straight white male. He's doomed
Yeah.
in this class, So he said he just had to sit there and he was like, so I told him, I was like, look, dude, look, bud, just whatever question
through
they
the hoops.
ask you,
just agree with
What-
her. That's what my son said.
whatever your instinct is, say the opposite, and that'll be what's right.
Yeah,
he
no,
said
my
he said that worked.
yeah, no, my son just agreed with whatever they said because he didn't care. He was never going to take this professor again.
So
He
whatever
agreed
your
with that.
whatever your guttural instinct tells you, if you say the opposite, it's probably the right answer, and he got like an A.
Um, I had to do a course when I was teaching. It was in the later years of it, and it was about radicalization. And I couldn't believe what they were telling us. We had basically in Minecraft world, the radicalization, the threat to the British public was white men, not the actual people who are blowing up and stabbing people and chopping heads off, etc. Basically that was like brainwashing and I actually said, well, that isn't actually true, is it? And she said, well, it is, and wrote my name down on a piece of paper. And I thought, yeah, that'll be me in a black
You
book
were on
somewhere
lists
now.
already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about my human sexuality class back in the
No.
day?
Don't think so.
Because I'm 99% sure I met Buck Angel, and then I don't realize it.
Oh, yeah. I
Really?
remember you telling me this.
Yeah,
Oh.
because I got my education degree, and then I had a associate. So where I worked was they would pay you to go get more education. So I was going to go get my bachelor's, and then I got married, had kids and this and that, but I was still going, and I was newly married, fairly newly married. I was newly pregnant, and I had to take an elective, and I don't know why I thought human sexuality was going to be a good time. So, but it was actually honestly a really good class.
Is this where the pegging came?
Huh? I actually
This is
really
where the
did
pegging
learn.
came from.
Oh, well, I didn't learn about pegging, but I really actually did learn a decent amount because, and it did make sense that, early childhood, it's going to kind of all relate, human. So anyway, so I vividly remember I was like 7 weeks pregnant, like nobody knew with my first, and we were going over the section of when the baby forms the sex. And I'm like, and literally it happens at like 7 weeks. And I remember looking down going, you better pick one. Because he explained the rate of, hermaphroditism and yada, yada, yada. So part of the class was he brought in hermaphrodite.
Oh, wow.
And
Oh, no, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Adam.
I know.
Yeah,
Lord knows what he said. I can't see what he's saying. So
yeah, people need to know this when we just laugh randomly, because I was laughing. Someone was talking about something awful, and I was laughing to myself. It's because we're reading what's in the chat.
And I can't see what the chat says. So, but he brought in, and I mean, I can't fathom that there is more than one person out there like this. But he brought in someone who was born female, and stayed female on the bottom, completely looked male from the top, and was a porn star. How many more of them could there be besides Buck Angel?
Pretty much, yeah.
So I'm 99.9% sure that I met Buck Angel, and I don't know it, but it was the most fascinating.
But is Buck Angel intersex?
He's female. I don't know. No, he's gender.
No, he's female to male.
Yeah, he's female to male, but he brought in like a hermaphrodite. He brought in this porn star. And he brought in somebody else. It was like a panel of like 3 or 4 people, and Buck just stood out. And I'm assuming it's Buck. And if it wasn't Buck, I apologize. But I'm assuming it was Buck, and he just stood out the most to me because, first of all, You know, he's a porn star. And second of all, I thought, wow, there's really something for everybody, isn't there? And second of all, he explained, and it wasn't until all this crap happened with the gender dysphoria stuff that I remembered this. It's like it unlocked core memory. And hey babe. And he like so I don't really remember what the hermaphrodite. I think they explained which one they were, and they chose what their parents chose and how that affected them, and yada yada. And then Buck was telling his story, and he explained how he went through like years of therapy, years of living as
Yeah.
a man,
Same with
years
Blair
of
White.
all like it took like 2 decades before he was a man, quote unquote. You know, and I know people could be like, "Ah, he's a woman." Like, I'm gonna call him a man. I mean, he looks like a man. He, you know,
Yeah. My view on it is, if that person passes as what they're saying
Right.
they are, how
Well,
else are you going to know what
but
they
he
are?
sat there in that
So-
classroom and said, "I know I am not a man, but this is what I
Right.
feel like I
Yeah.
need to be. This
Well,
is I
he
recognize that
truly has
that
dysphoria.
he
It's not
and to
trend.
this
It's not a
day,
trend thing.
to this day, Buck Angel says, I have gender dysphoria, and I acknowledge that, and I recognize that, and I say that, you know, other
Well, that's something that we can respect, isn't it? Because it's
Well,
like,
it's like
It is.
you're not
it's
It
like Blair
is.
pretending.
White
But that
identifies as a
was
trans woman,
that was
not a woman.
2004. That
Yeah.
was 2004. And that's how quickly that
Yeah.
process changed. So
Yeah.
when all this crap happened with because you know, obviously, you know, I clearly hang out with a ton of transsexuals, but you know, I don't have a big frame of reference for this, you know. So when I remembered that, I was like, holy crap, I am 99% sure that was Buck. Because when I watched, because he went on Carrie's
Very
show,
true.
and when he went on Carrie's show, I'm like, that has to be the same dude. I mean, how many could there be that were female
Well,
to male who stayed female below, and they are a
that'll
porn
be an
star?
interesting research project
Well,
for you,
did you
Amy.
see? I watched a video Blair White did the other day with her fiance, and they were talking about the time he got fired because they said he was transphobic, and he was like, "Have you seen my fiance?" But it was the way it was that was the excuse to fire him because of her
Right,
political
right. But that's what I'm
stuff.
saying.
But
So the moral of that story was that was a completely stupid class, not really needed for my education. However, I actually learned a lot. But look at how drastically different. And at that stage, that professor was like, "Oh, I'm gonna really be edgy, and I'm gonna bring
Oh,
in
yeah.
this." Da." And I guarantee you, if that professor's still teaching, he's probably teaching that everything that Buck said is wrong, and we should just go ahead and
yeah,
lop off the genitals
Yeah.
of 12-year-olds. You know?
yeah. I mean, the thing. Even I remember when I first started watching Blair, how the years of therapy before doing anything more than just social transitioning, before any
Yeah,
procedures,
like he
before
literally
anything,
he said years of therapy.
because the
Had to
doctors
live as a
wouldn't do it
man.
without it.
Because and think about how incredibly because he didn't look like a man yet. He didn't have the hormones. He didn't have testosterone. So he was just a woman acting like a
Yeah.
man. So people probably thought he was a lesbian, whatever, whatever. Think about the mental commitment you have to make back then,
Right.
you know, to have made that decision. You have to really, really, really
Well,
understand and
it
Well,
know
used to
there's
that
be you had
definitely a
to live.
difference.
Blair said, I think you had to, her doctors, she had to live 2 years as a woman with before she could get any kind of surgery or a lot of the
and
treatments.
even
Because
that's not long enough. That is
no,
not long
no,
enough.
no. And now it's like two hours
2
and
weeks.
let's
You
go
walk in and you're like,
schedule
I need
your
hormones, and they
mastectomy.
give you hormones. That's not okay. You know, that's just
Yeah, I was just
not.
going to say there's definitely a difference between kind of old school trans people
Right, but
and
20
new
years. We're
trans
talking
people.
20. Now, granted,
Yeah.
when Buck came and did the speech that okay, it was 2004, and he'd already been a man for however many years. So let's just say 30 years. Let's say he'd already been a man for 30 years. I don't remember the years, but let's just say 30 years. What?
Well,
I
and the
mean,
abuse that he gets from
Yeah.
trans youngsters
yes,
Uh-huh.
is
Yeah.
unbelievable, isn't it?
yes,
Yeah, because if you think about it, though, the majority and the doctors have even said this, the people who identify as trans now don't have dysphoria. And they get mad when actual
Right.
trans people with
Right.
dysphoria say that's, that's a necessary part of being trans. Like they call out
Right.
Blair White for saying, well, dysphoria is the problem.
right,
It's not a choice to people who actually
Right.
have it. It's an actual
Right.
thing. It's not because she caught someone wrote her a letter once saying how glad they were to follow her and to be trans. And she goes, I wouldn't wish this on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's not okay. It's
And
not,
that is
it's,
what I
it's a
remember
mental
him
problem.
saying in that panel. He was like, look, the person who has hermaphroditism, they didn't have a choice in this. Their parents had to make a decision when they were born based on the information they had at hand, because that's extremely rare, but it does happen. And he said, I don't want to be like this, but I am, and this is the only way that I can feel comfortable in my skin. Now, how the hell that led to the porn, I don't remember. He did explain it. I don't remember how it happened. But
Well, was that to pay for the transition?
I don't remember. I don't remember how he ended up down that path. But hey, dude, you're an adult. You do what you want.
Yeah, but it's disheartening with children because, I'm sorry, children are dumb.
Yeah.
And children need to be told no because they push boundaries. And
Adults are dumb.
yeah,
Well,
but adults
But
are
you know
allowed to
about
be
body
dumb.
integrity disorder, don't you?
Yes.
So bodily integrity disorder is how I see trans and how I see anorexia and all sorts of things like that.
Yeah.
Bodily integrity disorder is like a person who says, I can't live unless my leg is amputated.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
crazy
My
people.
testicles are removed.
Oh, like the
or
lady who
my
blinded
eyes.
herself.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
when that's happened, when they've done that to themselves, then they're happy.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean
Right.
we
But we
should
don't
encourage it.
Right. We don't say, okay, let me chop your arm off. We
Yeah,
don't.
Well, it's
And
like
you don't
tell
say
some-
you were always meant to have no
Right.
arms or no legs.
you don't tell somebody who's anorexic, oh, you look fat.
Yeah,
Correct.
exactly.
Right.
No, you
Well,
try to
that's the
help
same
them get
thing as
help
trans,
for
as
their
far as I'm
mental
concerned.
problem. And once they decided dysphoria was not a mental disorder,
Right.
they lost out the ability to get help because now it's cashing in on, hey, all these therapists who
Right.
make money
Well,
and
not only that, the medicine,
pharmaceuticals.
they're a patient for life.
Yeah.
Because they're going to always need the hormones. They're going to always need
And even if
follow-up
they
surgery.
detransition, they're going to need
They're
medicine
going to
for
still
that.
need hormones because you can't you can't unring the bell. And
Yeah.
I mean, I will still say to this day, I highly suggest people read Abigail Shearer's book, Irreversible Damages. It is an extremely well written, well done book of tons of data, and which people just say is transphobic, but
Everything's transphobic.
everything.
Anyway, listen, on that note, I'm going to have to go because I'm getting tired. I can feel
Yeah.
myself going.
I know, I
Thanks
still
for
gotta eat.
coming. Thanks for filling in without Therese. It was good to
No
see you
worries.
guys.
So
Thank
if
you for having
anybody
me.
wants to test this, let me know. I can't hold it up right because I don't have my stoppers, but I
You don't
have
have
my
your stoppers, really?
Well, there they are, my turkeys. I
Just,
gotta get
you
my
not find a
turkeys.
peg? Have you not got a peg you can use?
I gotta get a peg. I can't believe I don't know that phrase, and I feel very, very violated that I did not know that phrase.
Your husband should be very nervous.
Okay. So if anybody wants to test this, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay. So it's crochet and knit. So if anybody wants to test it, it'll be very loosely designed. Like, you better count yourself because I'm not helping you. So if anybody wants to test it, let me know.
It's one of those where you're not going to get a lot of pattern support because it's a
No.
recipe.
Yeah.
You're not. You need to learn how to count and hold up to your body and go, that's probably not going to work.
Right,
And
I'm
then
going to have to go. Right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thanks. Thanks, guys. If you
Thanks,
like,
peeps.
please like and subscribe. We will be back
And-
on Monday. And then the week after that, it'll be a Friday, I believe.
And I want
I'll
to tell
never hear
Kathleen,
Peggy Sue in the same way again.
if Kathleen is still listening, you counted too many. It's just each pair of stitch stoppers in the blocked magazine. Count the pairs of stitch stoppers.
Yeah. So thanks, guys. And we will see you again next week. Bye. Are you and Denise podcasting anytime soon?
We were supposed to do it this Sunday. We're going to try to do it this coming Sunday.
Okay.
Come hell or high water. So, yes.
Okay. Cool. All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
See if I can get cool things pop up.
Only when you don't want them.